Welcome to my playthrough of the Grace Attorney Chronicles. You know, we're on the final stretch, final case. It's been a while since I last played, but yeah, we're gonna catch up, and I just gotta remember what the fuck just happened in the meantime. But yeah, we're gonna see. I just remember we were here in the boat investigating as Sholmes and Mikotoba. But yeah, yeah, it'll come to me again, you know, while playing. Oh, there was this guy again as well, the Russian man. Okay, he's like a Nayo Temple Gordon statue. This fellow, the way he's glaring at us so fiercely. Tell me, why are you standing guard here if the cabin isn't occupied? Because this area is only for first-class passengers. Oh shit, I'm gonna have to remember all the voices I give everyone. Okay, this one is like basic, like bad Russian accent, but you know. We must look for suspicious criminals. He was looking straight at me when he said that. My dear fellow, as you can plainly see, we are quite unsuspicious as criminals go. But still criminals. No, for goodness sake, Sholmes, tell the man we're neither suspicious nor criminals. Ah yes, quite right, Mikotoba. Curses! This seaman is far too able for his own good. Be extremely careful in what you say. It was ought to be, yes. Okay, so legitimately, let me look at the history. Say this chicken. No, okay, okay. There's no like actual like objective. What about my? I don't even have case files. Shit. Okay, I'm like low-key kind of stranded right now. Okay, I guess we'll have to figure this out. What's up? What's with the cheese though? This must be a mousetrap, I think. Perhaps I could distract the crewman's attention with this somehow. Okay. Ouch! Choo! What the fuck was that scream? Choo choo! That sounds like big moss in trap. Choo choo! What the? Well, bring bucket of water later and put out of misery. Yeah. Don't like the sound of that. Yeah, me neither. In any case, my dear fellow, that was quite unconvincing. Only Japanese mice make a chew sound. Early, Sholmes. And pray tell, what does do Russian mice? What sound do Russian mice make? Pee pee. Naturally, though also quite unconvincing. I readily admit. So go ahead, Mikotoba, do a pee pee this time. No, thank you. Sure, can come up with an alternative solution. All right. Okay. Oh, okay. Ring the alarm. Ah, the switch for the electrical lights. Perhaps if I were to turn off the lights, the crewman wouldn't be able to see what we were doing. I mean, he's gonna see us literally doing it, but... Ugh, what is happening? Where is light? Now, Sholmes, now! Nobody here. That was a close shave. What? What a knack you have, stumbling so violently in an apparently empty corridor. Do be quiet, Sholmes. I shall have to think of another approach. Okay, what about the big pipe? I'm gonna do everything, even if it's like all mistakes. I don't got like a life meter here, so who cares? This is a speaking tube for members of the crew to communicate with one another around the ship. If I could just persuade or stalk your sailor friend that he needed us to use it, Sholmes could unlock the door whilst he was distracted. The question is, how? What's behind the door? That's the way back to the deck, but we certainly can give up on this now. Okay. What about here? That's not our first class cabin, yet this door is completely empty as well. I had a quick look inside earlier. Though I confess, I didn't investigate the wardrobe. There may very well be a young Japanese fellow inside, perspiring merrily. You're referring to Naruhodo. You know very well that he's currently perspiring merrily in court. Does it not strike you though, Miss Mikotoba, why the man stands guard only in front of this cabin, when both are apparently vacant? Yeah, because there's something inside there, or someone. It appeared to be an alarm bell. All hell would break loose if that thing were to ring. The whole crew would know about it. Yeah, let's go. Here goes then. Pardon me in advance. You, what are you doing? If you were at sea, there would be very bad problem.
What's going on that here? Seaman Stroganoff, report at once.
Sorry, sir, nothing to report. It was just stupid trick. No, not by me, by world famous. No, as I told you.
Now, Sholmes, now!
And done. Not even 5 seconds, eh? Well, don't stand there gawping at the brilliance, Miktoba. In we go. Oh, yes. Okay. Can't he just like just take us out of there like just instantly? Like we're literally next to him. Like I don't see the genius in that fucking like distraction. Okay, Ace Attorney logic. Anyway, 3rd of November, SS Grouse, first class cabin number 2. Good gracious. It would appear that the occupant of this cabin did indeed disembark rather hurriedly. There's clothes on the floor there. They're Seishiro's, without question. Oh, okay. The Japanese judge guy. Well, it seems we're just a little too late. Yes, by about 2 hours. Still, whilst we're here, we should investigate thoroughly. There may well be 2 hours worth of clues to find in here. That burly crewman may return at any moment, Sholmes. Indeed he may, which makes this all the more thrilling. Okay. In the wardrobe, instantly, immediately. There's gonna be someone in there. According to the report I was giving, Mother was concealing himself in Asugi's wardrobe. Indeed he was. You just said like you were in a hurry and you're spending your time yapping. Come on, okay. Ah, you must climb inside yourself, my dear fellow. What? Whatever for? It was the site of my first fateful meeting with Mr. Naruhodo. You can experience the moment for yourself now, complete with my dramatic rhetoric. Come along now, in you go. This will only take a moment. Really, Sholmes? Surely you can tell me what you said. Well, I uttered some brilliant remark and opened the wardrobe to reveal the stowaway Maruwa. I think I'll just read about it in the Adventures of Herlock Sholmes. Okay. What's this? This thing is clogged. There's a speaking tube here, look. Though it's been stoppered with some cloth. Yeah, whatever. So the voices of the crewmen on the bridge aren't an annoyance, I suppose. Or indeed so that the voices in this cabin aren't heard elsewhere. Could something have happened in here that was for no one else's ears, you think? Either that, or it could be to prevent snakes from entering. That's really become a favorite case of yours, hasn't it? Okay, guess nothing. This is the big, obvious, like, massive, like, pile of cloth, and the massive, like, thing here. That's a substantial heap of clothes in the floor. An overcoat, shirts, a dressing gown. Momohiki wore trousers, a Tanzan robe, a Haramaki waistband, and clearly the clothing of a Japanese man. And clearly, Japanese men are unaccustomed to the culture of the wardrobe. Looks to me as if they've been thrown in a heap like that in something of a hurry. Indeed, you could help yourself to a Japanese man's shirt, perhaps. I'm sure you made mention of packing too few. I'd very like to drown in one of Seishiro's shirts. Then I'll just buy any extras I need, I think. Okay. So what's about this box? It's a very sizable trunk indeed. Seishiro is partial to all things large. No, that was Mikutoba. And a rather clumsy fellow if you fail to notice he'd left that behind. Perhaps he left it on purpose. It's lighter than you might think, but still a hindrance to a speedy escape. Pity. It's locked, so we can't look inside. Surely 5 seconds from now, the situation will be quite different though. Sadly not. It has a 7-digit combination lock. And I'm not in a morose enough mood to work through all the combinations at present. Okay. I mean, surely you know the trick of like, you know, like listening to the clicks. Like this is like a, not a very like modern in our age like lock, so that like that it doesn't have this thing like where you can hear for the. Anyway. Probably in the trash there's something. This is the waste paper basket. Look, there's still rubbish inside. Indeed, let us pry. I've discovered recently I have a penchant for exploring the contents of others' waste paper baskets. I sincerely hope only for your work. Okay. Ah. We have a notice issued to passengers from 3 days ago. I knew it. Okay. I mean, I didn't know there was gonna be that, but something anyway. 3 days ago, the night before we arrived in London then. when I was still aboard myself. Evacuation drill notice, 21st of October. Following departure for the... okay, I couldn't have... Ah yes, there was an evacuation drill, I remember now. For safety and security, all first-class passengers were constantly under the watchful eye of the crew. So it was a welcome relief to have some privacy for once. Okay, let me read it. Do I have a... no, I don't have a court record. Shit. What about this? Quite exquisite glass, I must say. See here how it... Is something wrong, Sholmes? You suddenly trail off. Ice, Mikotoba. Ice! What opulence the first-class passengers enjoy! Chilled drinks! Pardon? Could it be that the steamship is equipped with an electrically refrigerated cold room, do you think? Is this something about like freezing bodies and like wait. But okay, no, never mind, I saw her message for anyway. It's a luxury liner after all. They have enormous refrigerators for storing all sorts of lavish produce as well as ice. On our voyage from Japan, we enjoyed culinary delights from all over the world. Suddenly, Mikotoba, the sight of you is making my mouth water. Whoa, dude, what do you mean by that? I haven't taken on the flavor of food I ate, you know? Okay? Okay, wait, oh shit, also, hold on. Boom. There's a button missing on my thingy. Boom. And boom. Okay. Yeah, no homo, bro. Okay. What's about this? I mean, we cannot read. Yeah, this is actually English. These are the rules of passage. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. We know this. Additionally, there are severe punishments for stowing away in wardrobes and/or travel cases. Yeah, okay, this is our doing. I feel the rules have increased since I last read them. Probably just my imagination. What about the fact that they're not straight on the wall? Doesn't that strike you? You may be right. Probably just your imagination, though. A trifle. And you know what I always say, Mikotoba? There is nothing important about trifles. It's probably just my imagination, but I think that might be slightly off. Okay. Is that really all there is to it? Like, I really felt like it would be like... Okay. It was slightly different color this year, do you see? Indeed. What you have observed arises when a frame that has been hanging for some time is removed. Perhaps your friend is an art thief. There's a bold deduction, worthy of a great detective, I'm sure. May very well be the elusive thief who has been plaguing France's galleries of late. Hey, is he talking about the Louvre? Really pretty topical, okay. Or is he talking about, I mean, obviously he's not talking about the Louvre, like, Bulgaries, but... maybe he's talking about Mask the Mask, but I don't... Was that... No, that wasn't Japanese-Fornian, was it? I don't know. I think perhaps we should focus our attentions elsewhere, Sholmes. Don't you? That outline on the wall. I feel as though I might have spotted something on a similar shape and size elsewhere. Ah, there we go, finished investigating everything that's happened. You're still there? Able Seaman, Stroganoff, hello again. I was beginning to think you'd never materialize. You are waiting for me? Of course, I was expecting you to burst in with a hearty Russian profanity far sooner. I was in trouble with Captain because of trick you played before. Poor innocent chicken. It is all your fault. Ship is leaving port soon. Get off, now! Of course, we shall disembark presently, my dear fellow. But first, there's something that must be done. What are you talking about? Why, naturally. The debunking of your deceit and the bearing of the truth. Ahoy! I'm afraid I see through your lies. For one thing, Mr. Jigoku has not yet left this vessel at all. Oh! What? And for another, my dear Seaman Stroganoff. You know exactly where the man is even as we speak, don't you? He's in the case, I assume. How can you? Wait. Good gracious, Sholmes, you mean you've worked it out, all of it? No, we're gonna help him, as usual. It's really been too long, hasn't it, old friend? 10 years, no less. Okay. So, would you care to join me for a dance of my inimitable logic and reasoning? Nothing would please me more. Okay. What is this? Okay. Getting the OG. The OG dance of the... I mean, it's not dance of deduction. Whatever they're doing, they're getting the original version. We have but minutes until the vessel puts to sea. No games now. Time is of the essence. Mr. Stroganoff, allow me to remind you of your earlier claim. You told us that Jigoku left the ship some 2 hours ago. Bah! That is what I said! Sadly, that was a rather clumsy lie. You see, there is something in this room that quite clearly contradicts it. What? Yeah, there's the ice cubes, Ah, yes, of course. I see you've noted it too, Mikotoba. Then please, do take the lead. Oh, okay, there's not even like a round one, it's instantly. Okay, but in this cabin shows the impossibility of Jigoku having disembarked 2 hours ago. Okay, it's instantly we're getting right to it, and we get like a new portrait of Mikotoba. Let's see what the last 3 years have done to your observational skills then, Mikotoba. It's been 10 years since we last did this, Sholmes. 3. Why, of course it has, quite. Now, all the clues are here in this cabin for our eyes to see. But as I always say, you must not merely look, but observe. Observe and the answers become clear. So, impress me. I think I can manage that. Okay. Glass containing ice. Yeah, that rhymes. Present.
Take that!
Bow! Instantly. This is Perhaps you should have cleared. Did he just fucking tap that? Okay, this is dope. Perhaps you should have cleared away that glass. How curious that the ice shouldn't have melted despite it being abandoned 2 hours ago. Oh! It would appear that the man was here in this very cabin until moments before arrival. With a sweltered glass in hand. Get your mind off the refreshments, Sholmes. One might even conclude that somebody informed me of our boarding. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Stroganoff? But why would Seishiro run from us? Because he's a criminal and he's the one who killed everyone. He's actually the professor. Which would be kinda lame, but maybe not, I don't know. Before we consider that question, allow me to confirm one small matter. Would I be correct in saying that these first-class cabins of the SS Grouse are the same ones in which you and Mr. Jigoku were accommodated on your voyage from Japan? Ah, that's right, they are. I was in the cabin next door, and Seishiro was... yes. 50 days in this very cabin during our voyage, as I suspected, for you see. There are traces in this cabin of a dark secret that Mr. Jigoku had to hide. Je t'ai vu, Shogun, 1999. Ok, tu fermes ta gueule. What traces? I know nothing about this. This is news to you, is it, Mr. Stroganoff? Sholmes, what exactly are you getting at? As I said, there are traces in this cabin of some nefarious activity. Something that appears out of place, which I'm quite sure you won't have escaped your notice. Something out of place in here. It's the key to this, Kotoba. The remnants of the dark deed that took place in here are being masked by something quite incongruous. Ah, okay, they took the frame. You know the frame that's like right here. You know, I'm pointing with my finger, I'm fucking stupid. But you see here, like this is the frame of the warning shit, you know, the rules. Like it's missing because it was used to hide something else, like on the side, right here where it's been put now. Because that was its original place, and now they're hiding something behind that. You'll see. I must say I didn't foresee even ever doing this dance of deduction with you again, Kotoba. No, quite, but life is full of unexpected twists and turns, as we well know. Now and then, let's see if I can't uncover the truth here. Yes, you have the floor, my dear fellow. Okay. The remnants of the dark deed that took place in here being masked with something quite incongruous. I mean, probably this.
Take that!
Yes. Booyah. First try. Hey, okay. As the rules of passage in this frame here, they're obviously out of place. The way they're hanging crooked on the wall, as if they were put there in a hurry. Yes, as I'm sure you've already concluded. That frame was originally over there. The shape and size are a perfect match, exactly. Okay. Duh, you are right. When did frame move? Hardly the most observant of crewmen, are you, Mr. Stroganoff? I would think your captain is quite justified in having his reservations about your reliability. Oh! Oh dear, that really seemed to touch a nerve. Okay. So, Mikotoba, why don't you lift that frame off the wall? A bullet hole! That looks like a bullet hole. What? Who has been shooting wolves? That's a very dangerous thing to have in a ship too. I see projectiles have been removed. Clearly the careful occupant of this room has already disposed of it. Now then, Mr. Stroganoff. Oh, you have the distinct impression that you're attempting to shield said occupant. I don't know what you're talking about. Why would I try to protect Eastern stranger? Ah, so we're talking about the same man, I see. Good. Oh! Okay, this is fucking dope. I like this is like the good version. The right version of the dance of the, like, I mean, this, the deduction thing. I'm sure we can get to the bottom of this in no time, aren't you? Because there's some very noteworthy evidence that explains the reason why you're lying for the man. Yes, you've been told to keep up this pretense, as clearly shown by the drawing on his forearm or something. I really don't know how to approach this one, Sholmes. Major Mikotoba, simply keep first principles in mind. Study your subject from every angle, and I'm quite sure that you'll see it. In fact, I'd put a wager on it. So I'm to glare at the fellow from all sides, where I can certainly do that. Yeah. Sholmes, tattoo. I mean, it's not a tattoo.
Take that!
Oh shit, it's not this. Oops. Never mind. Mikotoba, no games now. Were my words, were they not? Come, Sholmes, where's the fun in life without a little fooling around, Quite right you are. Okay. That was a close shave, I don't really think that before I'm the fool here. Okay. Okay. Oh. He...
Take that!
Okay, he got literally bribed, okay. It's almost too obvious for words. Quite. The universal language of the world. Money. Oh! I'd wager that the eastern fellow in question is Seishiro Jigoku, yes. Oh! Bro, he just keeps grunting like a fucking meathead. So I presume you realize what this means. There are clear signs that a crime has been committed in this cabin. And the way you're going, sir, you'll find yourself accused of being an accomplice. But... I believe you know, Mr. Stroganoff. You know where Jigoku is hiding at this precise moment in time. Yeah, he's looking literally down at the fucking case. Be more obvious, bro. As always, Mikotoba, in matters of deduction, the furtive glance is your unfaltering ally. Yeah, literally what happened. Yes, I think you're onto something here, Sholmes. You found a chink in this burly fellow's armor. Theory, they placed the money there to do a cool ass shot. Okay. Fair. We did only follow the man's gaze to know where our prey is hiding. The slightest flicker of the pupils, a minutely delayed blink. Nothing escapes my attention, even that which is barely perceptible. Could only call this barely perceptible, Sholmes. The man's staring his entire head. Yeah. It's not exactly what you'd call as a furtive glance, is it? It's almost too obvious. We shall let your tapping toes at the side, my dear fellow. Okay. Huh? He's not here? Like, okay, bro. Okay, yeah, prison. R.
Take that!
Wow. You turn immediately to look at this large trunk, didn't you? Yeah, and I said that in the beginning. Oh! The truth is, Seishiro Jigoku was unable to escape from the ship in time, and is, at this very moment, doing his best to stifle his breath inside this trunk. If he has still a breath to take, I fear he may be running dangerously low on air. Imagine he didn't count on us making a nuisance of ourselves for quite so long. I think it would be in everyone's best interests for us to open the trunk as quickly as possible. Yeah, but how can we? Are you forgetting about the combination lock? We don't know the 7-digit code. The combination lock can be opened from inside the trunk. Therefore, there must have been an arrangement for somebody to open it after our departure. And that's the thing he has written. The code is literally Sholmes, or like, I guess a 3. Of course. In short, before Jigoku hid himself inside the trunk, he must have told somebody the 7-digit number. S, H, wait. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there's 7 like letters in Sholmes. So there we go. As I'm sure you can confirm, Mr. Stroganov.
No, I know nothing about combination code.
Don't move a muscle, my good seaman. Yeah.
Oh?
Now, Mikotoba, would you do the honors and open the trunk?
How on earth do you expect to...
It's a 7-digit number, remember. Quickly now, we have little time. Yeah. Dumbass, it's obvious. Okay. Sholmes. Okay. S. H. What would be an H? I guess a 4, maybe? L. The L would be a 7. Oh, maybe Sholmes is like in reverse. Because he wrote it like this, right? So, Sholmes. So it's a S. So it's an S. So it's a 5. Might as well fucking do it, you know? Like, instead of fucking LARPing, I'm just gonna fucking write it, you know? Okay. S. Okay. H. Like he drew, and then in the nick of time, my shit doesn't work. Great. Okay. Boom. Okay. Boom. Okay. So S H O L M. How does the M work though? Oh, it was a 3. Okay, I remember. Shoal and the E. How is the E? Oh, it's a 3. Obviously. Wait, no. Is it a 3? I don't know. And then it's an S again. So I'm guessing. So yeah, it's 4. Yeah, it's 4, and then O, and then 1. Boom, 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 and then show Ulm, and then it was a 3. Wait, okay, I have to do this by hand. Okay, 3 Sholmes. Wait, no, I mean it's not Sholmes, but never mind. I'm fucking stupid. It's the reverse. Stupid. Yeah, wait. He was in reverse because he wrote Sholmes for us, but in reverse it's this. Okay. So it's 5, and then it's 6, but he wrote it wrong because he's stupid. Okay, there is no 6. Never mind. So maybe it's 3. Yeah, maybe it's 2. S, and then this is like 3. Okay, and then L, and then O. Okay, and then this is a 4. Yeah, it makes way more sense. And then this is a 5 again. 5. Where's the 5? Yeah. But maybe this is wrong. Shit. What? What number is it though? Like 5, 3, L, O, 5. Yeah. I guess present. Yeah. Okay. Maybe I need to just do like. Because. Is it a 2? Maybe it's a 2, maybe it's not. I don't know, we'll see. Present.
Take that!
Oh, I got it! Let's fucking go. Click! Oh man, I'm fucking let's fucking throw this like, piece of paper in the trash. Let's go! Massive brain. I mean, it's not that big of a brain fucking thing to figure out, but hey, first try. I'm proud of myself. Okay. Let's do this. Boom. That did it. It's open. You had to meddle, didn't you? Like with the coolest fucking drip.
Well, Eugen, you found me now.
Seishiro. Yeah, what the fuck are you doing here? I feel like you're the culprit of something, if you had to hide. I was really hoping beyond hope not to find you here, you know?
But you're not entirely unsurprised, I take it.
Like, he had the deepest, like, voice of them all. Okay. No, quite, I just wish it were some other way. Well, are you ever going to introduce me?
Your reputation precedes you, Mr. Sholmes. I've read stories of your many exploits.
Excuse my manners, Sholmes. This is Mr. Jigoku, my old friend and traveling companion. The devil is in the details, Mikotoba. I believe you meant to say your old friend and traveling companion. who made the cowardly decision to flee the country without a word to anyone when things turned sour.
I see my reputation precedes me as well. What an honor.
Well, Seishiro, are you going to explain all this?
You know it all by now, I imagine. What you didn't know, of course, is that 3 days ago, on the night before arrival in Britain, an attempt was made on my life here on this very ship.
What? By the Reaper of the Bailey? Yes, I've since heard. Oh, I guess, yeah, that sounds kind of familiar. That did indeed kind of probably happen. Yeah, okay. Because you were once prosecuted by the Reaper, weren't you? 10 years ago now, mind you.
And I had no idea at the time what a dangerous individual he was. Anyway, when we arrived in London to find the symposium was postponed until goodness knows when, it became all too apparent to me that I might very well be targeted again.
So you decided to flee the capital without saying a word to me about it?
I'm afraid so, yes, of course, I realize now that I really ought to have confided in you.
It's somewhat surprising, I must say.
What is?
Well, first-class cabins aboard luxury steamships are in very short supply. It's more than a little hard to believe that this one just happened to be available.
So says the protagonist of some Carlafro short stories. Well, I don't care for your opinion.
Yeah, it probably has been booked for a while.
The cabin did just happen to be available, so I purchased a ticket and here I am.
Maybe he had it booked in the beforehand. Like either he booked it like beforehand, and basically, like he was already planning an escape regardless, or something. I don't know. Or it was just his like travel back like ticket that he just had from back then. You know. I don't know. Like because he. And he just never cancelled his ticket. You know what I mean? Maybe, I don't know. Quite interesting though. Jigoku, I really like this guy. I like his design and shit. He looks fucking dope. It would break my heart to see him become a bad guy, you know? And worst of all, become the like, turns out he was a professor and Genshin got like executed in his stead. Oh my god, imagine if Jigoku is the one who shot him in the graveyard. Because we still don't know who shot like Genshin Asogi in the graveyard when he came back to life, quote unquote. You know, because Scythe, like the morgue woman, along with another person, I forgot, the guy who was disguising, like they both like colluded to keep him alive. You know, like make a fake, like fake, how do you call it, analysis of his body and shit, and yeah, to just let him live because they know he was a good man, but he finished the job, possibly, or maybe someone else. But it feels like. Seeing like he's a new culprit and all that shit, and he was there at this, you know, at this like time in the story. Maybe he's the one who shot him at the graveyard after like when Draba found him and stuff. Perhaps this is either a very good observation hacky future sight, or this is just plain bullshit. We'll see. I've just informed myself the obvious remnants of that incident in this cabin. So you'd already purchased your return ticket before you even docked in Dover, had you? To prevent anyone else taking this cabin and seeing the evidence, is that it?
Eugene, I have nothing to say to you.
What? Well, in a mere 5 minutes, this ship will set off on its onwards voyage and not make port again until Italy. I'm afraid you must insist that you disembark with us at once.
You have no jurisdiction over my movements.
We have this, Seishiro. Take it.
What is it?
It's a Saponia from the Old Bailey. You're a man of the law. You know what the ramifications of ignoring a document like this from the British courts would be.
You came prepared then, Eugene.
Come on, let's go. One moment. What is it, Sholmes? It's in Mr. Jigoku's trunk. I found this rather fascinating trinket. What is that, Seishiro?
I can't help you, I'm afraid. Some small component from something.
What does that remind me of? Like, I can't remember jack shit, but this reminds me of something. something you can turn. Maybe part of the lantern, or maybe part of the camera, you know, from the graveyard incident. Maybe, maybe not. Not sure.
But what, I have no idea.
But you look on his face, I think he genuinely doesn't know. Oh, okay. Well, let us pocket it as a small souvenir of our brief sojourn in France. Oh, we're in France! Ah, okay. Well, young Naruhodo, I think we've done as much as we can, I'm afraid. The rest will be on the shoulders of you and your assistant. Which is your daughter. Lol. Okay. Back to here. What the fuck were we doing in court? 3rd of November, 12:10 p.m. The Old Bailey court. Oh, we were defending Van Zeeks. We're defending Van Zeeks. Yeah. Okay. From the killing. Oh no, right. Fucking. My man. How is he called again? Gregson is dead. Shit. And I really hoped like it was gonna be a fake thing, you know, like Asogi, but yeah, turns out no. Shit. Okay. And then we tried defending him, but like because they think he shot him, but turns out he wasn't, and he died another time, and he's like, okay. Let me check the court record as a matter of fact, so I just get a breath of fresh air from all that shit. Okay. Oh, we already have it. What the fuck? It just teleported like to our hand, Lamau. Okay. Okay, tug its ears. Yeah, we tugged its ears because, and then it like, it was, yeah. Communication device to talk to Sholmes who is in the boat. The fucking range on this thing, holy shit. Like, next level talkie-walkie. Okay, examine. Did we examine this before? Karuma, the Great Blade. It's such a thing of beauty. I want to gaze on it for hours. Okay, and the tip of the blade, right. The tip of the blade was like broken off. What? Oh yeah, and the tip of the blade was broken off on I almost said Gerson from Undertale. No, on the Gregson's like case, like travel case. Yes. Okay, the tip of the great sword broken. Such a shame. It's been so meticulously cared for over the years. You can almost hear Karuma's sobs. Because we must have really taken a swing for that to happen. I see. Okay. What about this? What's written on here? Evacuation drill notice 31st of October. Following departure from the port of Dunkirk, all crew members are required to assemble on the main deck at 10 p.m. in order to review evacuation procedures. The drill will take 20 minutes. Crew to resume duties as soon as the drill is over. Okay. What's the date on this? I actually didn't read it. 31st of October. Okay. When is the crime happen? When the crime happening and stuff? Wait. Do we have a case recap? Autopsy report. Time of death? Date of death, at least. No, like, because... Yeah, indeterminate, but... Like, could have given us at least a window of time, perhaps? I'm not sure. Victim cleaned Van Zeeks, this when he died. 31st of May. Okay, it's not of October. Okay, whatever. And then what's this? Small component. Feels like... What the hell is that? Like, it feels like a knob. You see these little things all over the place, don't you? Is it part of the top of a pocket watch there? And that okay, that's obviously yeah, it was obvious. Okay. Watch that you twisted this at the time, right? It's called the crown, I believe. No, wait, what voice did I give to Sato? It's called a crown, I believe. A watch would be quite useless without one. The crown, like what sits on top of a monarch's head. That's a very grand name for such a tiny part. But actually, yes, Mr. Naruhodo. If this is a crown, I have a feeling I might have seen a monarch around here somewhere with a very bare head. If by monarch you mean the pocket watch, then I'm quite sure you have. Okay, interesting. So let's see. Okay. So yeah, because we couldn't set it up, right? I mean, we did have a key of sorts, like to wind the time. No, never mind. Okay, this is to wind it up, because I guess this is how the mechanism works on this shit. Because like right now, our watches currently works with like quartz mechanism that like feeds off your own movements to like create more movement for your pocket watch, or like they're electronic, like with batteries. But I guess before they had it to wind it up, like all like in the morning, like they said, like a wind up toy. And because I was a technology at the time. I see, and this was to actually set the time. And we don't have that piece, but now we do. Okay, so perhaps like they fiddled with the time of death. And yeah, they fiddled with the time of death. Which he had the crown. Which Jigoku is the killer, most likely the killer of Gregson for some reason, because maybe he was approaching too close to the truth, because he turns out to be actually the real professor in the professor case. Jigoku, you bastard. I lied to you, you betrayed my trust. Okay. Maybe my theory from earlier is correct. Okay. And then, you know, he twisted up. And also, they talked about the refrigerated, like stuff, you know, refrigerated room, like ice room. So maybe, like, there was the thing to delay the time of death by putting Gregson in the fucking ice chamber in the boat to delay the time or something. And oh, and you remember the position of Gregson in the crime scene? He was literally like this. He was like, how do I do this? Like, he was like, you know, like this in the crime scene. And this is the exact same position that Jigoku had inside his case, inside his own case. Yeah, I have the photo too. Yeah. So, like, maybe... Also, welcome, first-time chatter, Astrodu. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, I'm thinking, yeah, so basically... Okay, my theory. Very early, okay? Jigoku was the one who, like, killed Gregson. Okay, this is the conclusion I'm going for. But then, like, he used the travel case to bring Gregson with him, to freeze him in the boat, to delay the time of death, because it was much earlier. And then he brought him back, to fiddle with the crown of the watch, to change the time of death. And then he forgot to, like, get rid of it. I mean, he took it, but he forgot to get rid of it. Because he was the one who to switch the time. And yeah, I see. And then the whole fireworks thing, like, for the bang noise, like, for the gunshot noise, was pure coincidence. Because I don't think he would be here, but maybe he was, like, to orchestrate this shit. I think this is it. I think I got the actual conclusion of the story. Okay, I mean, of this case. But then there's whole gonna be all the melodramatic shit that's gonna happen, and I'm just curious, what the fuck? Why did he do it? I mean... okay, we'll see. What do you think, Mr. Sato? I feel sure I know exactly what will fit here. Really? I was just thinking precisely the same thing. We're about to see that little round component is actually part of Inspector Gregson's broken pocket watch. Really? I was just thinking precisely that too. Wow. Okay. Perfect fit. I knew it. How did you get your hands on it? Like, was this a flashback or something? Okay. Alright, perhaps you knew it. Make a note of this new information at once. Okay. Can we fiddle with it as well? Oh, okay, we can't. But okay, we updated the... Was found with the Jigoku. Okay. So, Kazuma Sogi, I know you, you wouldn't lie. I'm sure, like, we're gonna get a line of, like, oh, make sure to review your evidence to make sure you find the solution. Yeah, when we already found it. Anyway, I know I know you, and I know you wouldn't lie, but still, there's no doubt that you're holding something back. You know more than you're saying. Oh, right, I forgot Strongheart was the one that... like, taking care of this. During the past 30... Wait. During the past 30... What voice did I give him? During the past 30 minutes, while this court was adjourned, all possible efforts were expended. But sadly, Mr. Jigoku's whereabouts could not be ascertained. I must accept the unfortunate conclusion that the Reaper has already done the deed. Stupid. There's no sense in wasting any more of the court's time. The prosecution calls for an immediate verdict.
Objection!
No. No, the trial cannot end now. You're a Japanese man, Ryunosuke. You should know when to lay down your sword. And you should know never to presume when the battle is won. Exactly. The court has already been presented with all the evidence and heard all relevant testimony. And there can only be one conclusion, that the accused is guilty! All relevant testimony? Far from it. There's still a crucial witness, from whom the court is yet to hear a single word of testimony. In that case, call your witness to the stand at once, counsel. Yes, my lord. tomorrow, if possible. The witness is already on his way, and scheduled to arrive tomorrow. What nurses this crucial witness? Seishiro Jigoku. The very man alleged murdered by the Reaper. Judge Jigoku? You found him? Yep. Yep.
But the investigation of every policing resource in the capital suggests that Jigoku is already dead. Whoa. Oh, in the name of God! Did you find the name? Oh, I fucked it. How in the name of God did you find the man?
He was located in France during the recess at the port of Dunkirk. Thanks to one of Mr. Herlock Sholmes' famous deductions.
Herlock Sholmes.
Inspector Gregson almost certainly met with Mr. Jigoku on the night of his death, because along with Prosecutor Asogi, Gregson was on a mission to assassinate the man. Okay. Which means that Seishiro Jigoku is the sole witness who can clarify exactly what happened aboard the SS Grouse on the 31st of October. Indeed. Indeed he is.
Well, it would appear that it's too soon to move to adjudication at this point.
The prosecution concurs. The court must hear Mr. Jigoku's testimony. No judgment should be passed until all testimony has been considered.
In that case, I hereby call the end of today's proceedings. Court will reconvene at the same hour tomorrow. The objection from either side?
No, my lord. No objections, my lord. Just stays completely silent. We live to fight another day. The skin of our teeth. How do you say that word? Good. Okay. Still kind of blurry in my mind, like what the hell they're talking about. Okay, to be continued, and it's gonna continue right now. Okay. After a little bathroom break. Be right back. Okay, just gonna drink something real quick, and yeah. Okay. Whoop. There we go. So. Okay, what's the 31st of October? What happened in 31st of October? That's the question I'm having, because I'm kind of confused, honestly. Like, what are they talking about? Like, there was a trip to somewhere on a ship? Whatever. Unexpected halt of proceedings sent a clamor around the courtroom. But outside the Bailey, where Londoners knew nothing of the secret trial within, it was a typical still night. Then at a little past 8 o'clock that evening, Mr. Sholmes and his partner returned to Baker Street. Ooh, tournaments. Ooh, with a nice feast too. Okay. Reading good tonight. The November 8 p.m. Sholmes suit. We have returned, my dear fellows. Welcome back to Britain, and thank you for your timely help. Think nothing of it. I believe you've had an even more wearing day than Mikotoba and I, no? You could say that. We were on the brink of defeat in court earlier. It's this prosecutor, Sogi. had you on the ropes, did he? And he's your best friend, you say? Well, he's not really the man I knew in Japan anymore. Kazuma's changed. Oh, Mr. Naruhodo. I mean, it's incredible to think that he'd even entertained the idea of acting as the Reaper's assassin. Well, nevertheless, you must introduce me. After all, I've only ever met the young man as a corpse. Okay, yeah, when all this started, almost a year ago now. Yeah. Shrom still hasn't told us the truth about what really happened back then. But the motivation for what he himself described as a good detective's lie. But then I must say, it's really quite a journey all the way to France. Well, it is just another country, Mr. Sholmes, so what news of Judge Jigoku? We took him to Scotland Yard. The investigating detectives in there have a lot of questions for the man. Poor Professor Mikotoba. This must be quite a shock for him. Yeah, like both his friends, like his homies, close friends are like one of them is dead, and the other one like is like suspicious of being a criminal and going to jail forever, you know. You're gonna be all alone, man. Poor guy. Yes, I picked this up at the telegraph office on our way home. What is it? Surely you haven't forgotten already. I put upon you for the matter only yesterday. Put upon me, Sholmes. I had to fill out your telegram to Japan and foot the bill as well. Oh, you had a reply already? What was so urgent though, Mr. Sholmes? Such matters can wait until later. I'm far too hungry for an involved conversation at present.
Well, that's good news, because supper is ready, everyone.
Been a while since seeing her. And what a feast it is! That went Italian for a second. What a feast it is! If I were none the wiser, I'd think the trial were won already. Roast beef, keppas, stew, steak, and kidney pie. Kidney pie? That sounds fetid. Yorkshire pudding.
Tomorrow could be a very long day, so eat up.
In that case, I think I'll sit myself just there. This place appears to be the only one set with a helping of pheasants as well. Pheasants?
Oh, sorry, Hurdy, not there.
Why ever not? Are we in set places this evening?
Yes, and that place is for Susie's daddy.
For me?
That's right. I made it especially for you, Professor Mickey.
I see. Well, that's terribly kind of you.
It's a shame, really.
Why? What do you mean?
Well, for a brief moment I believed it. That Susie and I were half sisters, I mean.
Oh. Right, this thing. This whole, like, ordeal, okay.
Oh. Iris, do you mean... Yes, I know now. I overheard yesterday. Secretly listening to the conversation you had after I tricked you all into thinking I'd left.
Yeah, I think I remember noticing that kind of like... What? Okay, I forgot to do this, but yeah, kind of sort of remember hearing about that. Not sure though, like... Because like there was like sounds of like... I don't know, there was something, I think. There was like a foreshadowing of this. This misunderstanding arose because of the autopsy report from 10 years ago. But actually... It turned out that neither Dr. Wilson nor Professor Mikotoba are Iris' father. Is it? Is he? So his father isn't the one who was actually dead? What? So this whole time they were right in not telling her that her father's dead. Who the fuck is it then? Maybe Gregson? Is her actual father? I don't know. Yes, about that, Iris. You know, I
know. You can't tell me at the moment. Oh, Iris. The pheasant is by way of an apology. I'm sorry for eavesdropping.
Oh, no, that's quite alright. Then why don't I get any apologetic pheasants? So just who is Iris' father? I suppose that's not something we'll be finding out today. Maybe tomorrow. So then let us dine, while all largely pheasantless plates are still piping hot. What's a pheasant though? Isn't that a bird? Did they cook a bird? Or like is it like a gift in the shape of a bird or something? I don't know. A fine idea, Sholmes. It all looks absolutely delicious.
Eat as much as you like. There are always seconds.
Okay. This could be our last chance to ask questions before tomorrow's trial. About a telegram for Japan and about Kazuma. Can't let this opportunity slip away. So let's... Yeah. Why is he seated like that? Let me see. I'm kind of curious. I mean, there's still no evolution on the analystoscope. What's this? No, okay, maybe new news on the violin. Shows famous violin. The one he'd found. Yeah. Showed you something. Yes. Stradivarius. Somehow. Strategy. Are you even trying? Okay. This is no thing on the thing of importance. Yeah, why you see that like that? Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing? No, okay, he's in the present. Surely it's abundantly clear that I wasn't brooding over Mikotoba's refusal to share his pheasant with me. Nevertheless, I felt the need to withdraw from the social circle for a while and look on with hungry eyes.
Sorry, Hurley, but I cooked that pheasant especially for Susie's daddy.
Even though I've played the role of father to you for far longer.
Mr. Sholmes, could I discuss some things with you? Certainly, my dear fellow. I found myself quite in the mood for a spell of conversation. Oh, I wasn't expecting that. I thought we would have to give him like special treatment. No doubt, you're hungry to learn more about my deep love of game. You probably contain my curiosity on that one. Okay. You didn't look at me in that fashion. In what fashion? It seems, before we discuss the pheasant, we have some rather unpheasant matters to discuss. Okay, let me just look around still. Okay, so there's just Sholmes here. Okay, I mean, probably the other people here too, but they just were like, didn't decide to just not, how do I say that, like model them or like put them there. But anyway, telegram from Japan. So it wasn't telegram you received back from Japan then? Ah, this. I think my Lucas stars it arrived in time. Record, found as indicated, duplicate follows. K. Asogi, A. Shin, T. Gregson, J. Wilson. Kazuma Asogi, Asogi Shin. Oh, it wasn't Genshin, it was Shin Asogi, yeah. T. Gregson, T. Tobias Gregson, J. Wilson, John Wilson, okay. What? Those 4 names? We've come across the exact same list before. Yeah, and the top secret thing. I remember. Give me that unforgettable case last spring. Yeah. That happened to yeah, I remember. But it involved the sale of British governmental secret. Yeah, in the thing. Yeah. Don't worry. I remember. J. Wilson. But we didn't find the names out until the case was over, and we never did get to the bottom of what they meant. All we knew was that the information had been sent by somebody in the British government to somebody in Japan. Somebody's colluding with how is he called again? Jigoku. Okay, so why are the names coming up again now?
Yes, where did the sender of your telegram discover them, Mr. Sholmes?
I have here the message I had wired yesterday. Allow me to read it to you. Enter Judge Jigoku's office undetected. Enter Judge Jigoku's office undetected. Investigate telegram records. Expect to find communication from Britain dated 1 year ago. List of 4 names. Need by tomorrow. Naruhodo. As a little detective, I know who specializes in clandestine missions of this nature. You asked Inspector Hosonaga to undertake such an onerous task for you. And in my name, I wonder what guys he opted for this time. My dear fellows, it was a matter of great urgency, you understand. Anyway, the list of names was found in Seishiro's office, as Sholmes predicted. Interesting. So you mean that Mr.'s collection of names that was sent from Britain to Japan was...
It was sent to Judge Jigoku. He was the intended recipient.
Don't believe it.
But that doesn't answer the question of what the list of names actually signifies.
It was a hit list. People to kill. Maybe. Did formulate a hypothesis about that. But without a shred of evidence, I couldn't possibly have shared it. Mr. Sholmes looks deadly serious for once. Yeah. I guess we'll get that hypothesis after we check all of this shit. That tragedy we had to go through on the SS Buria. It was all for nothing. Kazuma wasn't dead at all. We're completely taken in by the lie you told us. Your great detective's lie. I took the pleasure in deceiving you. However, at the time, all that concerned me was preventing the young man's study tour from taking place, whatever the cost. Wait, was this? Yeah, okay, well. What did you say? I capitalized on the... Oh, okay. Capitalized on the events that transpired to see that he was sent back to Japan. His remains, you mean? Precisely, Mrs. Sato. And then, I made sure that nobody else was sent to Britain in his stead. Oh my, you mean... The arrangement between our two countries was already in place. One university student lawyer and one judicial assistant to be accommodated on a study tour. In other words, by arranging for someone else to fill the place originally intended for Mr. Asogi. I would successfully prevent the man from arriving on our shores for several years at least. Wait, do you mean to say that it was all in aid of stopping Kazuma coming to Britain? That's why you... Think back, Mr. Naruhodo. Was there not somebody who quite casually urged you to continue on the voyage to England? The terms of the study tour were negotiated by the Department of Justice in both Great Britain and Japan. In the light of Mr. Asogi's unfortunate death, I'm afraid the study tour can no longer go ahead. My dear fellows, the majority of problems have an extremely simple solution, you know. All you require is one lawyer, and the study tour can continue, surely. Okay, I didn't actually remember this part, so... Yeah, fair enough. Thank you for reminding me this time when I finally had a useful flashback. There is no one else with the necessary qualifications, Mr. Sholmes. We know of no other lawyer. The voyage to London still promises a good month of time. Ample opportunity... Oh, shit. Yeah, you know, we get what he was gonna say. So, you manipulated me. How often remark on the extraordinary length to which friendship will drive a man. I was quite sure that you would rise to the challenge for your late friend. I don't believe it. But if it was all contrived... I mean, what happened was treated by the authorities as a murder. A woman who mistakenly arrested as the perpetrator, what do you suppose became of her? Naturally, didn't allow the misapprehension to have any serious repercussions. I subsequently explained everything and assisted the unfortunate soul in finding the foreign refuge she sought. I seem to remember Mrs. Sato and I had some rather strong words for her. Well, she was certainly not devoid of all guilt. She deserves every word. She deserved every word, I'm sure. Yeah, because she still attempted. I wonder if she made it to America then. Still attempted the murder of sorts, so, you know. I'm afraid I simply cannot comprehend it. Yeah, why did he do it though? Why would you go to such length, Mr. Sholmes? Why were you so determined to stop Kazuma-sama from reaching Britain? Yeah, that's what I want to know. The truth is, 12 months ago, there was already a very tangible omen of the impending tragedy, you see. Oh! An omen that, at this very moment of time, is close at hand. An omen of all these tragic events that already existed a year ago is close at hand. We need to find out exactly what Mr. Sholmes knows. Yeah, what do you mean? What do you mean, bro? Okay, I cannot even present. I mean, no, I can just, I need to, yeah, here. Yeah, there was no room for that with your instructions in the telegram, Mr. Sholmes. You were very clear that it was just Jigoku's office that should be searched, so... You obviously knew that's where the list of names would be found. Kazumasagi, Aishin, T. Gregson, J. Wilson. You only learned of those 4 names just over 6 months ago now. Oh no, it was Genshin Asogi, but it was Asashin, I think? Yeah, Asashin Assassin. The dumbest fucking wordplay, anyway. And only because they appeared as part of the top secret government communications that were leaked. It's true, yes. But at the time you were unaware of the background. You see, those 4 names were wired to Japan. Around 6 months before that, approximately this time last year in fact, when you were both still in Japan. It really would be hypocrisy on my part to reprove others for intercepting state secrets. Because after all, I'm perpetually eavesdropping on communications between the British and Japanese governments. Perpetually doing what? How? Never mind the details, but you should know. The secret is safe from Sherlock Holmes when he has designs on knowing it.
Oh my, Mr. Holmes, what a fabulous line!
Yeah, it was kinda cool. Now, 1 month after that list of 4 names was wired to the recipient Jigoku in Japan, Dr. John H. Wilson was murdered. It was a hit list, so I was right. Yeah, Kazuma Asugi was supposed to get killed, and Assassin as well, but maybe, I don't know. John H. Wilson was supposed to be murdered, and then whose name was also on there? Tobias Gregson. So maybe like it was Assassin was supposed to murder. Assassin was supposed to murder. How is he called again? Yeah, John H. Wilson. She did actually ended up doing it, and then Kazuma-sama was appointed in killing Gregson. Maybe, and that's why he tried to prevent him from going to Japan, to London, to prevent Tobias from dying. Because that was his original mission, perhaps. Maybe. As soon as I learned of that incident, a hypothesis rapidly took shape in my mind. As it turns out, I was partly correct and partly mistaken. Maybe it's exactly what I said. Nevertheless, it was the beginning of the tragic events that were to follow.
Mr. Holmes, please, tell us all you know. Tell us about the 4 names and the tragedy to which they're all somehow connected.
There we go. Let's get to business. As I said, when I learned of Dr. Wilson's murder in Japan, my mind immediately turned to those 4 names because you see, there was someone else on the list who I believe to be recently deceased. What? Who? A Shin, as it was transcribed in Japanese script, is in actual fact Miss Assassin. That was a familiar name to me. She was a professional killer, well known amongst London's unsavory whatever.
Oh, I see.
But she had completely vanished from existence several months before Wilson's murder. So I came to the logical conclusion that she had herself been killed, and accordingly, I became fearful for the lives of the remaining 2 persons on the list.
Ah, Kei Yasugi and T. Gregson.
Then maybe it was in fact that. I don't know.
Owing to our proximity,
I decided to take measures to protect Gregson myself, and I determined it would be safest if young Yasugi were to stay away from Britain. Ah, that's why you went to such length to prevent his study tour from going ahead. Exactly.
So, you already knew who Kazuma-sama was, Mr. Holmes?
Oh yes, Mr. Holmes and I have exchanged correspondence for years. I recounted many tales about Asugi to him in my letters, and the news of Dr. Wilson's death, of course. Oh!
So, Dr. Wilson is dead then? I didn't know.
Oh, Iris, yeah.
I know he wasn't my dad.
Oh, no, never mind. Yeah, he... Okay, fine. He's not her dad. Or maybe he is, I don't know.
But still, that's very sad. I'm so sorry, Iris. We knew the significance of the name, obviously, but... we just couldn't bring ourselves to tell you.
Cowards.
No.
But what you just told us, Mr. Holmes, doesn't completely tie in with the facts. There's one big hole in your hypothesis.
Big hole, Mr. Naruto?
Ah, yes. You mean about Assassin, I presume?
Oh, of course.
Exactly. She wasn't killed, was she? She was in Japan, posing as a visiting student under an assumed name of Giselle Brett. I'm glad you're keeping up, my dear fellow, but I only became aware of that fact 2 days ago, in the foyer of the Great Waterloo Hotel.
Ah!
And upon hearing the startling revelation, the hypothesis that had formed surrounding those 4 names was completely turned topsy. What? Topsy-turvy. Okay. What do you mean when you say your hypothesis was turned topsy, Mr. Holmes? I had believed all 4 names on the list to be names of victims. There we go. Assuming it was a hit list at first. However, I was mistaken. Very much so. Assassin was a killer. So this telegram is a list of both victims and killers, isn't it? Okay. Indeed, and it would seem that Miss Shin was dispatched from Britain with the sole intention of dispatching Dr. Wilson. Her visiting student status were being merely a front. Which would, of course, explain why no motive could be determined for her actions. So the real reason Dr. Wilson was killed by assassin is because he was a target of an assassination. And forearmed with that knowledge, fresh consideration of this telegram was to listen a very different perspective. What do you mean? Come on, you figured it out already, no? Well, does not strike you. There is another among the four, who subsequently became a visiting student. Wait, do you mean? Of course, a name you know only too well. You mean Kazuma? Oh! He did say in court earlier today. Yes, on 31st of October, I accompanied Inspector Gregson to Dunkirk in order to carry out a mission.
And the mission was?
Assassination of the Mark. Okay, yeah, he did tell us that. Okay, so it's not that much of a fucking like revelation then, because he was like, oh, yeah, but yeah, whatever. Young Miss Asugi accepted that mission a year ago now. Surely not. Conclusion: this document is a contract of sorts, an international agreement, one might say, detailing an assassin exchange. This is an exchange. How could Kazuma possibly have gotten involved in something like that? It's an exchange. Okay. That was correct. Let's assume that we have two parties, each wishing to dispose of a distinct individual. Those two parties then make a contract to swap their respective assassination targets. That would then be an assassin exchange. So to begin with, the British assassin is dispatched as a visiting student to Japan, where she kills her target. And then the Japanese assassin is dispatched as a visiting student to Britain in order to eliminate his target. Certainly does sound like an exchange. But what on earth is the point? Yeah. Don't forget, Naruhodo, that the British assassin at least escaped conviction, thanks to diplomatic immunity afforded by consular jurisdiction. Oh yeah. Such jurisdiction should be null and void under the terms of the new treaty between our two countries. So the fact that it was brought into play suggests intervention at the very highest levels. Strongheart, maybe? These murders were two sides of the same coin, linked not by a common motive, but by contractual agreement. As such, they appeared utterly unrelated, yet in truth the assassins were complicit in one singular devilish scheme. The association and the safeguard of diplomatic immunity were, I believe, the motivation behind this plot.
But wait a minute, Sholmes. If this telegram really is describing the exchange of assassins as you're suggesting, would mean that the Japanese killer's target was never Seishiro Jigoku at all. It would mean Asugi's target was actually Inspector Gregson.
What? Kazuma was here for Gregson? So Jigoku wasn't actually the mark? Yes, that's exactly what it would mean. And in turn, Jigoku is the assassin, and he was the one who dispatched of Gregson. Woo. Okay. I hold myself personally responsible for failing to keep the inspector safe. Mr. Sholmes. I told him of my fears and implored him to seek a transfer to an overseas position. Obviously, with a young pickpocket in tow. Yes, Gina. Yeah, he was supposed to go to France. Come to think of it, Inspector Gregson did mention that to us at the Great Exhibition, and he'd be transferring to the Paris police and taking Gina with him. But without informing me, he engaged in one last assignment, it seems. And sadly, it turned out to be his very last. It's too much to take in. Yeah. Man! It still pisses me off that he died.
Alright everyone, that's quite enough of all that serious talk for one day.
Jigoku to Kazuma before the verdict in G11, and do not forget to fulfill the mission imposed upon you. Interesting. That was a good foreshadowing then. Okay. But also, be careful. Let's get, even though I maybe figured it out, or maybe this is a red herring, you know. You know, maybe he could kind of be considered a spoiler because he kind of like implies that, you know, I am correct on Jigoku, like, you know. Yeah, you know, but yeah.
Alright everyone, that's quite enough of all that serious talk for one day. Isn't it, Hurley? I mean, look at the time!
Ah, quite right, Iris. We must conclude our preparations for tomorrow. What preparations? Well, I think I shall make my way back to my hotel room for now. This has certainly been a night to remember.
It is a little bit sad though.
Hmm?
I mean, I like the idea of you being my daddy. Because then Susie would have been my big sister.
Sorry, Iris.
I know, Iris. I was thinking quite the same thing. Were you? But if somebody like me would be worthy, I would be delighted to become your sister. What? Really? Oh yes, without question. So, you'll teach me all the ways you know to throw Runo to the floor? Yes, yes, of course. It would be my pleasure.
Okay. You didn't even have to agree quite so readily.
Oh, wait a minute. If Susie's going to be my big sister, you could be my big brother if you want, Runo.
Huh? I mean, yes, of course. If you'll have me, I'll gladly be your brother. Well done, Iris. We must always be mindful of feelings. I've raised you so well. Okay. Because being sensitive is your strong suit, naturally. Yeah. Dickhead. Okay.
Right, I'm going to work extra hard for tomorrow now, because it's for my big brother and sister.
What is all this talk about preparing for tomorrow? Preparing what?
You'll just have to wait and see.
Oh, okay.
Good luck in court tomorrow.
Good luck in court tomorrow. I'm expecting a sterling performance. I'll do my very best, of course. So the overnight break in the trial's proceedings became a crucial turning point, exposing new truth whilst posing new conundrums. The list of 4 names on the telegram in Judge Jigoku's office. The extraordinary assassination plot in which my best friend had somehow become involved. I felt as though I had been plunged into an even greater darkness all of a sudden. But at the same time, I felt sure I would see the light again soon. Aww, all my friends are here. Because I was lucky enough to have the most wonderful family in the world standing steadfastly behind me. Yes, very cute. Okay. To be continued. Right. That was a pretty quick one. So, I think I kind of got it, like what happened. Kind of got what happened. Like, this is obviously I don't have the details, but I got like the meat of it. You know what I'm saying? Do we continue though? Yeah, whatever. Let's go. I'm guessing like this trial part 2 is gonna be huge. It's gonna be like a massive, like gigantic, ginormous, like slab compared to the one of before. So either we'll stop at the middle or we will just extend. Like we'll play until like we finish this part of the case. We'll see. 4th November, 9:30 p.m. a.m. The Old Bailey courtroom. I missed Van Zeek's, no, honestly. Like, yeah, during this 1 month, not talking like with Van Zeek's voice, not talking to him and shit. Like, man, yeah, I was going in withdrawal, man. Anyway.
Before we begin today, I have a brief announcement. As with the closed trial 10 years ago, some astonishing facts have come to light in these proceedings. The revelation that the well-known Reaper is actually an organization illegally executing its own brand of justice. The discovery that a respected yard inspector was at its heart until he himself perished in an assassination plot. Well, I say to all members of the judiciary here present on this occasion, that we will stop at nothing to uncover the whole truth behind these disturbing findings. Counsels, you will undertake this trial with the resolve to pursue the truth to the bitter end.
Exactly. Don't worry. Resolve. Yes, that's my intention.
My lord, if I may inquire.
Okay.
The defendant may speak.
On what grounds is Kazuma Sogi permitted to continue his role as a prosecutor?
Yeah, true. He was literally like, he has admitted to colluding with the victim in a plot to assassinate an innocent man. And he shouldn't be enjoying the privilege of freedom, let alone be leading the prosecution. I submitted a written petition to Lord Strongheart, requesting that judgment of my transgressions be delayed by 1 day. You did what? In today's proceedings, I intend to expose everything. My whole life for the last 10 years has been all been leading up to this 1 day. Kazuma, whatever the outcome of this trial, I give my word that I will accept whatever punishment is deemed appropriate, however severe. And I suggest you prepare yourself for the same, Reaper. Okay. Kazuma bristling with hostility today. I get a distinct impression that we're heading into very dangerous territory. Is that really even Kazuma-sama standing before us?
As an extreme exception in to normal practices, I have granted this prosecutor's request. The defense finds this acceptable, I presume?
Yes, my lord.
In that case, in the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session again. We resume the closed hearing of Barak Van Zeeps.
The defense is ready, my lord. The prosecution is more than ready.
Very well then. This preamble has taken long enough. Prosecutor Asoki, begin!
As you wish, my lord. The prosecution calls the first witness to the stand. Bring Seishiro Jigoku into the courtroom. At last, then, we've reached the final battle. He's putting literally everything on the line now, in order to get to the truth. Come on, Ryunosuke, it's time for that steely resolve, because this is going to test it to the limit! Okay. Witness, state your name and occupation for the court. So it was you who issued this, was it? You're Supponi. I did what was necessary.
Well, look at the young man, what the young man has become. I didn't think I'd see the day when you'd take that tone with me, I must say. The witness will ensure...
Wait, okay, this is the same word.
His response are pertinent to the questions asked.
Okay.
My name is Seiichiro Jigoku, a Supreme Court judge from the Empire of Japan.
16 years ago, this man came to London as a visiting student. 6 years later, he returned to Japan, as well as presiding over the Supreme Court. He is also currently Japan's Minister of Foreign Affairs.
I'm of course fully aware of Mr. Jigoku's preeminent roles. I vetted him personally to the International Forensic Science Symposium as a representative of his country. I hear he also played a key role in the conclusion of the Anglo-Japanese Treaty of Friendship and Navigation. It was a great honor to be involved in negotiations. I put my all into that treaty.
Judge Jigoku, I must ask.
Well and never. Fancy the young murdering student turning up here of all places.
You acquitted me yourself. Now, I'm a practicing defense lawyer.
Yes, and full of self-importance, like your friend across the courtroom, I see.
You came here to London by invitation to the International Forensic Science Symposium. But then, without informing anyone of your plans, you took flight to France.
Took flight? I'd have to object that turn of phrase.
Okay. Explain yourself. What exactly were the circumstances?
Well, I was somewhat expecting this. And I'm sorry to say, I decline to comment.
What?
Leaving the country prematurely when I was an invited guest may be questionable etiquette. But my decision is unrelated to this case. I can't be bound to testify.
I mean, he knows the law by the book. Like literally, like he knows he knows the law by like the back of his palm. So like, this is gonna be a very tough cookie to crack.
Unrelated, you say?
Wait, what?
I appreciate that a respected police inspector has been killed, for which I offer my condolences. However, being an alien, I'd obviously never met the man, nor do I know the first thing about him.
Well, that's easily disprovable.
As such, I'm in no position to testify. It's as simple as that.
So you would run from all this?
I beg your pardon?
This case is far, is more far-reaching than the murder of Inspector Gregson. It has ties to another murder, a case that was tried in Japan almost a year now. A year ago in Japan, the murder of Dr. John H. Wilson, you mean?
That's right, and you, Judge Goku, are at the heart of both cases. The defense has evidence to prove it. Well, Ryunosuke, I see from the look in your eyes that you're resolved to carry this. They keep name-dropping the name of the game. Ryunosuke is resolved. Yeah, okay, we get it, bro. Okay, that you're resolved to carry this through to the very end, too. Let's see your evidence then. What proof do you have that Seishiro Jigoku is involved in this case? Easy.
Take that!
Please. Yes! Okay, I thought for a second because the music didn't stop, they were just like, no, no, no. Okay. What on earth is that? This piece of evidence is a welcome present to the courthouse with the compliments of the defense.
You have a poor grasp of British court etiquette, counsel.
That's the extent of your resolve. You disappoint me, Mr. Ryunosuke Naruhodo. What? Oh. No, okay, so I was wrong. Fuck.
Stand tall, Mr. Naruhodo, that was a minor blow.
Okay. okay. Then I guess it's Let's see your evidence then. Okay. Fine. We'll give the watch itself then.
Take that!
Okay, well, never mind. I'll go fuck myself. Amazing. Okay. Okay. I mean, I guess this, but like, you know, it would have been cooler to show the... Anyway.
Take that!
Okay, whatever. This is a telegram detailing a communication sent between Britain and Japan approximately 1 year ago. The communication contained 4 names: Kazuma Asogi, Asashin, Tobias Gregson, and John Wilson.
You little... Whoa! Where did you get that?
In Tokyo. From your office, Chichikoku.
What? How on earth did you...
What's this all about? Why is my name on that list? This list of 4 names follows a certain pattern. T. Gregson and J. Wilson are the names of victims. K. Asogi and Asashin are the names of assassins. No! Yep. A year ago in Tokyo, Dr. John H. Wilson's life was taken in a Western-style restaurant in the capital. The culprit, found to be a visiting student who went by the name of Giselle Brett, but her real name was Asashin, a professional killer sent on a mission to kill from the Great Britain.
Asashin and her victim, J. Wilson.
And the murder that just took place here in London was the counterpart of that crime. An assassin sent from Japan, also a visiting student, Kazuma Asogi, whose victim was the British police inspector Tobias Gregson.
Kazuma Asogi and Tobias Gregson. One assassin from each country to kill a target residing in the other.
What exactly is this defense suggesting?
These 2 cases of murder, one that took place in Britain and one in Japan, were masterminded by a pair of individuals from each country as a form of assassin exchange. The telegram the defense has acquired is proof of this international contract to kill. What? Okay, this is getting good. The telegram was found in your office, Jigoku. In other words, the mastermind in Japan was you. Yes. Jigoku? What's this all about? And you, Kazuma, you lied. I mean, he was amnesiac, low-key. So, during yesterday's proceeding, you acknowledged that you had accepted the assassination mission. But the mark wasn't Jigoku at all. It was Tobias Gregson, Detective Inspector of Scotland Yard, as shown by the name on the killing contract. Very impressive, Ryunosuke. But actually, I didn't lie. Yeah, you were lied to. The name of the target was ordered to kill never passed my lips yesterday. Oh, the idea that Seishiro Jigoku was the mark came entirely from you. Ah! You deliberately avoided saying a name.
Okay. The defense claims his forenames indicate some sort of international assassin exchange. I'm sure I speak for all present when I say that the very idea seems utterly absurd. Well, Mr. Jigoku, what do you have to say for yourself?
His silence only goes to prove his guilt. There's another very important point to that this new development brings to light. Oh shit. There's now a distinct possibility that the scene of Inspector Gregson's actual murder was in the witness's cabin aboard the SS Grouse. Yeah, exactly. Judge Jigoku, you have to testify now. To refuse will put you in contempt of court. Yes.
There's no need for quite such a vicious stare, young man. Very well then. As a parting gift to you all, I'll tell you everything I know. It seems the Japanese gentleman has information that the court must hear about the alleged assassin exchange and the events of the night of the 31st October. Present your formal testimony now. As you wish, my lord.
Let's see.
It's true that Kazuma Asogi was assigned the assassination mission 1 year ago now. The target was Inspector T. Gregson. That was a condition of the British study tour. However, in the end something happened. That meant the young man was unable to carry out his mission. On the evening in question, a member of the crew was on duty outside my cabin at all times. If there'd been a shot fired, the crewman would have heard it.
So clearly I can't be involved. Wait, we know there was a shot though. Bro? We literally know. So admit it then, as this communication suggests. There really was an assassin exchange arrangement between Britain and Japan.
A political endeavor at the highest levels, not something I can discuss here.
To use such a worthy practice as foreign study to coerce somebody to commit murder. It's the most appalling thing I've ever heard.
Appalling? Well, it's easy to judge.
Pardon?
But you had a reason for taking his sword to that British inspector, you know?
What?
Which is why he accepted the mission in the first place. Isn't that right, Counsel?
Kazuma-sama? Judge Goku, if you're the mastermind behind this operation in Japan, then tell the court the identity of your counterpart in Britain.
I'm not obliged to divulge that information.
Imagine if you just said like,
the guy in front of you, Lord Strongheart.
It would be fucked, because, yeah. As I said yesterday, I've killed nobody. I freely admit that I accepted the mission, but on the night the plan was to be executed, I backed out. In short, this assassin exchange that the defense has identified is unrelated to the events of this case.
The crucial point is this. Your police inspector can have perished aboard a steamship in Dhaka. If he'd been shot in the cabin, it's inconceivable that a member of the crew wouldn't have heard it.
No, it is very conceivable actually. Because it was a drill that happened right at the moment that this happened. Therefore, yeah. The murder happened during the drill. And yeah, and then they hid the bullet like mark, which is the bullet that killed Gregson. With the like frame. Okay, that's right. Gregson was killed after returning to London in the room on Fresno Street. And the perpetrator of the crime was a Reaper, Barak Van Zeeks. The prosecution's accusations remain unchanged.
To think that a seemingly innocent foreign exchange program was a facade for such Machiavellian dealers. Clears a plot only a government minister and a high-ranking judge such as the witness could hope to execute. Well, I seem to recall that it was someone on the British side who controlled everything. Be that as it may, it is not the place of this court to pursue this villainous assassin exchange plot. We are concerned only with the tangible events pertaining to the murder of Inspector Gregson.
Well, I have a feeling you're kinda hiding something here, buddy.
Is the defense clear on that point, counsel? Because earlier you said I will pursue every bit of truth to the bitter end. Brother, change your tune a little bit.
Yes, my lord, I'll keep that on mind as I cross-examine the witness. Okay. Ridiculous must give us an insinuation 1 year ago now. Okay. The target was inspected incorrect. Said there was a condition of the British study tour. But in the end, something happened that meant the young one was unable to carry out his mission. The evening in question, a member of the crew was on duty outside my cabin at all times. Let me press you. Outside your cabin in the first class area of the SS Grouse, you mean?
Yes, that's right. Not least because there was a murder of a student passenger earlier in the year, I imagine. The liner operators have taken to posting a crewman outside every first-class cabin door.
I can confer the presence of the crewman and guard myself. What do you mean? Because I accompanied Inspector Gregson to Dunkirk that night, I witnessed it with my own eyes. There was a well-built crewman standing guard directly in front of the door to the witness's cabin.
At that particular time, of course, I'd gone to the ship's dining room for dinner.
Secretary and I asked the crewman to allow us into the cabin while we waited for Judge Ikoku's return. I suppose Inspector Gregson was there in his capacity as the Reaper. He was intending to take the witness's life. Exactly. As I've said numerous times now, I had no intention of killing anyone. So the crewman led 2 potential assassins into the cabin he was supposed to be guarding. Not the most convincing of centuries, really. In truth, those were my thoughts too. But anyway, I sat to talk with Inspector Gregson for a short while. Then I left him there and made my way off the ship alone. Was the guard still at the door when he went? Yes, he glared at me as I walked past.
See, that proves it.
Okay.
There'd been a shot fired, the crewman would have heard it, so clearly I can be involved.
Hold it!
The crewman was standing directly outside your cabin door, you mean?
That's right. The muscular man with a permanent grim expression on his face. He didn't once move from the spot. To be honest, I thought he was a miserable fellow. But as it happens, he's a vital witness now.
There's no doubt that Gregson was killed by a gunshot. It is inconceivable that a crewman standing just outside the cabin door wouldn't have heard that. But wait, what about the ship's enormous steam engines? The noise of them could have drowned out the sound of the gun being fired.
Said the young judicial assistant, that won't wash.
Oh?
You will recall that my cabin was in the first-class area of the ship, which is also, of course, the quietest. Don't imagine for a moment that it's anything like steerage where the judicial assistants go.
I didn't mean to... Yeah, but there's a reason why, you know, the sound pipe thing was clogged with clothing, and, yeah, the thing was hidden, and this was the drill. Yeah, it happened during the drill. I know that, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I know. But a hole like that was made by a bullet was... But a hole like that made by a bullet was found in your cabin, Judge Jigoku. Exactly. There's compelling evidence that a gun was fired in there. What's that? A bullet hole?
Oh yes, you're talking about what the detective uncovered in the wall yesterday, I presume. There was obviously a rotten panel eaten out by a woodworm. No doubt he didn't find an actual bullet.
Ugh, that's the hole in this argument.
Sadly, I wasn't able to arrange for the crewman to be brought back to Britain with me. But obviously, if a gun had been fired in my cabin on the night in question, as the defense implies, I would have been arrested on the spot, and would never have made it to Britain in the first place.
Very true.
The witness's logic is sound, since no gunshot was heard from the witness's cabin on the night in question. We must assume that the witness is telling the truth. I'm glad you've seen senses, my lord.
This was evidently to take on this incredible assassination plot, but even so, hearing it... Hey! Thanks for following! And like... Yes, the follower, like the follower animation I made. Yes, finally being used. Thank you very much for following. Let's go, 20 out of 25 to 5 Liliot. Yes! Okay. Having it confirmed by somebody else is a real... I was legitimately like so caught off guard, like I wasn't expecting that sound at all. Anyway, yeah. Having it confirmed by somebody else is a real shock. It's unforgivable! Using Kazuma-sama's feelings to manipulate him into agreeing to such a despicable plan. But I think Kazuma manipulated Judge Jigoku too. Completely double-crossed him. Not here, but for the right reasons though, like he didn't want to kill anyone. You know? But dear, it's hard not to see that as a stroke of brilliance on Kazuma-sama's part. One way or another, though, Gregson ended up dead. I really think that the murder must have happened aboard of that steamship. So you mean Judge Goku must be lying? Yeah. I know I shouldn't let my emotions cloud my judgment. But you must destroy him, Mr. Naruto. Destroy him! Fucking set a nuke on his face. Okay, bro. Okay. Yeah. Let me save. Wait, shit. How do I save again in this game? Forgot. Yeah, okay. Save. Boom. 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 There we go. Then I'm just gonna present the little drill. Because he wouldn't have been here during the drill, you know what I mean? 10 PM in order to ready evacuation procedures will take 20 minutes. Yes, there we go. So,
Objection!
yes, okay. Yes, as the court has heard, there was a crewman posted outside Judge Goku's cabin. However, we can be sure that, contrary to the witness's claim, well, the guard wasn't there at all times. What? I have here a notice of a particular event that was scheduled to take place aboard the steamship on the 31st. Yep.
What? Where did you get that?
In your trash can, buddy. It's evidence gathered by Mr. Hellock Sholmes. You were acquainted yesterday, if you remember.
Hellock Sholmes again.
According to this itinerary, after leaving the port of Dunkirk at exactly 10 PM and for a period of 20 minutes, all crewmen of the SS Grouse were to gather on deck for an evacuation drill. All crewmen were away from their posts, and during the 20 minutes interval, of course, any gunshot emanating from your cabin would have been heard by no one. Look at you, all fucking pissed off. Eat shit. In summary, Judge Goku, you had ample opportunity to commit a crime.
Oh!
There we go.
Objection!
A 30-minute window of opportunity. That's an excellent find, mate, Ryunosuke, but it amounts to nothing. Why? Because a witness clearly stated in his testimony that no incident occurred in his cabin, unless you have some decisive evidence that can show his testimony to be false. Your accusations is nothing more than conjecture.
Very true. Well, Counsel?
The evidence exists. Okay. Inspector Gregson was killed in Judge Goku's cabin that night, I'm certain of it. Because the defense has the evidence to prove it.
You will present evidence for the defense at once, Counsel. What proof do you have that the victim's life was taken in the Jigoku's cabin on the 31st of October?
Maybe this? Maybe this time around is gonna...
Take that!
Judge Goku! Yes! Let's fucking go. Okay. Judge Goku, that was... this was found in your cabin yesterday.
What is that? The crown of a pocket watch.
Yeah, you know all about this shit, man. Fucking... Okay, he always looks at his watch and shit. Okay, obviously he knows what it is.
A pocket watch?
And if you will observe, the victim's pocket watch, which we know he treasured, is missing precisely that part.
It can be.
Moreover, this crown is a perfect fit on the spindle protruding from the victim's watch. Now, the fact that this was retrieved from Judge Goku's cabin tells us that the victim's watch almost certainly broke there. In other words, the victim was killed on the 31st during the 20-minute evacuation drill. In the cabin occupied by you, Judge Goku!
Well, you're razor sharp, aren't you, you young murderer?
I'll keep calling us that, bitch ass. Expertly maneuvered, Ryunosuke. And your argument sounds entirely plausible, at first. But rather like this pocket watch, it's full of cracks. What? I believe Judge Goku feels the same way. Look at how he was moved. He was like this, and you're telling me he was like, okay.
I was wrong to acquit you earlier in the year.
Sorry? That's a very odd statement to make.
If I know that it would result in anyone having to listen to this drivel, I would have declared you guilty just to spare the world, you ridiculous bombast.
Why the fuck do you have it then?
think it's clear that the witness will have to give further testimony. Yeah, he will. When you hear what actually happened in my cabin that night, you will notice that the pitfall into which you've stumbled. Prior to renewed testimony, I would like to clarify one point. The fact that this part of the victim's watch was discovered in your cabin means that you know acknowledge he was there, I presume? Yes, I do. Very well then. You may proceed to give your formal testimony about what exactly happened in your cabin aboard the steamship, about the ship on the evening of the 31st of October. You literally just did perjury, but, you know, whatever. Of course. As a man of the law, I have no intention of obstructing justice. Like you were doing it all the time up until now, brother? What are you talking about? I had a guest waiting for me when I returned to my cabin after finishing my evening meal in the dining room. When I walked through the door, a mustachioed Englishman was there, foolishly waving a gun at me. I soon took care of him with an ippon seoit throw, though he couldn't wait to run away after that. Imagine his watch was broken when I threw him over my shoulder. It has nothing to do with the murder. The inspector was clearly killed having returned to Britain, because his body was found in London. I know his body got refrigerated, I just know it. Ippon seoi. A common jujutsu martial arts technique in my country. I was careful not to use too much force, but the man obviously landed too heavily for his watch to take. Why would he... Where... Yeah. So you do this Naruhodo. Imagine you can see the flaw in your logic now, can't you? What? The fact that the pocket watch was broken in the witness's cabin. In no way proves that the victim's murder took place there. What? No. No? That's stupid as fuck. Absolutely not. I have no doubt the inspector intended to kill me. But he didn't manage to pull the trigger. Yes, because he was merely the tactician, not the Reaper's hand of death. Well, the testimony appears to make perfect sense as far as I can tell. Let me express my deep gratitude for your understanding, my lord. But if this testimony holds, Toshikoku would be deemed to have had no involvement in the case. Well, counsel, I really see no reason for wasting precious court time here on cross-examination. Sir, my lord, the defense has the right to cross-examine, but I don't intend to squander that. Your embarrassment to your countrymen, not knowing when you're beaten. Shut the fuck up! I'm gonna beat you to death, bro. In that case, proceed, Mr. Naruto. I just know, with the way he's like talking, he's like suddenly very, very dishonorable talk. Like, oh yeah, I wouldn't have enacted actual like rightful justice if it meant like you were gonna fuck me over right now. You know, that's something like someone with like very poor morals would say. You know what I mean? I don't know. Fuck you, man. I had a guest waiting for me when I returned to my cabin after finishing my evening meal in the dining room. Okay, I already read that, never mind. I'm gonna press you on that. Is a so-called guard posted at your cabin. And that explains something. That explains maybe why there was the bit of the sword of Karuma in the box, the lunchbox of Gregson. You know? Because the so-called guard posted at your cabin door had just let your killers pass, you mean? Apparently Gregson told the crewman that he was a police inspector, which was the truth, of course. He wouldn't have had his identification with him, though. He had his trench coat and mustache, not to mention the bag of chips. Imagine the crewman was convinced. But the man was accompanying him would have had two swords slung around his waist. You mean me? Who else? Yes, that's true. You would have hoped you would have hoped the sight of a few swords might have set off alarm bells in the guard's head. The point is, I left the cabin before it took him in return, and I immediately disembarked the ship. Not true! You attacked him! Certainly, all I can tell you is that the only inspector was waiting for me when I arrived back in my cabin. And you entered without any inkling of suspicion? That's right, none whatsoever. I feel like there's like a bit of bullshit here. So Englishman was there foolishly waving a gun at me.
Hold it!
Would he though? Would he though? So you're talking about Inspector Gregson? Yes, and though at the time I didn't know the man's name. There was no time for introductions, I value my life over manners. By which you mean that Inspector was there to assassinate you, I suppose? It was certainly the impression given by the gun pointing in my direction. but I've never seen the muzzle of a revolver shake about so much in all my life. Anyone would think the man had never shot somebody before.
Believe it or not, most of us haven't.
Anyway, there was no time to call for help at the crewman at the door, so I dealt with the man myself.
Yeah, you're faster than a gun, buddy, sure.
Soon take care of him with an Ippensate throw, though. He couldn't have waited to run away after that.
Hold it!
If the man had a gun, that was a very brave move, wasn't it?
My Ippensate is far faster than a bullet, I can assure you.
Yeah, bullshit. Sure that all that commotion caused the crewman to come, didn't it?
Yes, of course. He burst in immediately without knocking. The inspector hurled himself at the stocky fellow and just managed to slip past him to make his escape.
If sending guard does it again.
Look, here there aren't many situations I can get out of using a quick Ippensate throw.
I've had many doubts about this shit. Many doubts. Imagine his watch was broken when I threw him over my shoulder. It has nothing to do with his murder.
Hold it!
The crown snapped off. But the time is incorrect though, isn't it? Right? Because it was supposed to be broken. You know, the time it was broken in... is like... how long? Yeah. Like... because we figured out before that, you know, how do you say it? That the... shit, why am I so bad? I'm losing my train of thought. Yeah. We figured out before that... like the watch stopped at a specific time because that's when it was broken at, or something of the sort, right? Let me check it. Let me check really quick. And that means like it wouldn't be true if single day every one of started. Wait, no, because that would I don't know. No, okay, this is not like no. It would. There's nothing that's gonna come out of this second. Snapped off and the glass covering the face of the watch was cracked. Preferable to the man's head being pulled off or his spine cracking, would you say? But that the man was spared for long. A bullet to the chest soon saw to that. The point is, the broken pocket watch doesn't prove that the murder took place.
Absolutely not. All the watch proof is the power of my jujutsu throw. Whatever you say, it doesn't quite ring true that no shot was fired at that cabin.
Because there was an obvious bullet hole in the wall. Yeah.
What are you talking about? That's what the star of your lowbrow detective stories told you, is it? But I don't care for such fiction. Haven't you worked it out yet? You're just a little stripling. No murder took place in my cabin.
Yeah. Inspectors clearly killed him in return to Britain because what he was found in London. What can I press him on?
Hold it!
There is no evidence that proves the victim ever returned to London alive.
Just take a moment to think that idea of yours through that stripling.
What? Okay, I thought I was being called.
Your inspector was killed on the steamship in France. How on earth could he have got back to Britain?
Through your case.
When people die, their bodies remain at the same spot. It's a devil of a thing.
Well then, obviously the couple must have moved the body.
How exactly? Carrying a corpse of a ship in your arms would raise quite a few eyebrows at least, don't you think?
Yeah, you already know very well how he got moved. Well, yes, that's true, but...
all passenger luggage is inspected when it is unloaded from arriving vessels.
I would like to think the border police would query the corpse of an English gentleman as hand luggage. If the murder had taken place aboard the ship, you would imagine the body would have been disposed of at the sea. There would be no sense in risking being caught by attempting to transport the body back to Britain. Let's kill the idea then. But perhaps not, yeah. Because it's checked when it goes in, not when it goes out. That doesn't make any sense to be like, oh no, it doesn't work. No, it absolutely does work, because it wouldn't be checked when you're leaving the place. It will be checked when you're going in. Duh. And the murder happened inside the ship, so, you know, yeah, shut the fuck up. Mrs. Sato?
We've heard that the first-class passengers were under constant scrutiny by the crewmen posted to guard them, which would mean that the culprit had no opportunity to dispose of the body in the sea.
Yes, that's true. So transporting the body to Britain may have been the only viable alternative.
Dear me, you really are new to this, aren't you? Yeah, I thought I'd been perfectly clear, but it seems I'm going to have to explain it in words you can understand. I think I ought to alter my testimony with your consent, of course, my lord. I have no objections. State your admitted testimony now. Okay. There is no possible way I could have transported the victim's corpse back to Britain.
Yes, there is. Where is your luggage? Little bro? Where's your luggage? Don't I have the luggage with me? Okay, well, I guess I'll have to press him again.
Hold it!
There's an idea.
Think about it, Miss Stripling. All passengers and crew disembark at the same time and pass through the same checks at the border. The symposium guests were then driven straight to the hotel in carriages organized by the ministry.
We met you as soon as you arrived at the hotel.
So you did? Well then, remind me, did I have a corpse over my shoulder at the time?
In your luggage. Stop doing this agenda. We know what you're doing. What? No.
We were in agreement then. I couldn't possibly have brought the inspector's body back to Britain. Unless, of course, they developed some clever device these days to instantly move things from A to B.
Funny you should say that. Professor Harebrain's invention didn't actually work, if you remember, Mr. Naruto. Yes, of course.
The offense has become unusually quiet, I notice.
Yes, because
There's really nothing more to say.
yes, there is.
So that's his tone.
Well, I suppose if you think about it, whenever you drop a teacup in the offices and it breaks, we don't say Mr. Naruto must have been murdered there, do we?
The veiled threat of alone might happen to be fabric another one.
The fact is that Inspector Gregson's body was found in the little room on Frester Street. If he really was killed on Judge Jigoku's cabin, the body would have been moved somehow, obviously. Transporting a dead body over a country border would be impossible for the majority of people, so there must have been some special circumstances that made it possible to recover it. That could be a vital realization, I think, Mr. Naruto. Okay, so we checked on this. Checked on this. Imagining which was broken with maybe didn't I press absolutely everything, including this? The man had a gun. That was a very okay. No, I did check this. Oh, maybe I have a paper. Wait, hold on. Let me check my papers. Dismissal notice. MC, no. Actions possession. This is a partial within one or two persons for the break of one additional person to travel. Okay. Sugi papers. Kitchen superhero request of my death. The person and wealth belonging to me to be delivered to my son Kazuma Asugi in the Empire of Japan. From deep sense I must accept my fate in this foreign land, and the knowledge that I will never see my whole land or family again. Okay, no, this is not it. Someone made the evacuation procedures. What is it? There has to be like something, some kind of paper, you know, of like allowing him to like do like some bullshit. Like bird line. Okay, what does it say? September, 1st of November. No, there's no like special permission here. Use method of standard issue firearms for a member of the judiciary. members of the judiciary. By the way, I'm just saying, okay. The victim was shot in the chest at close range from the front, resulting in instant death. Scott Marshall point of entry. The bullet exited the body from behind. Exited the body? Yeah, this is literally what happened in the ship. There was even like moldy like fish and chips in his pocket or some shit. Yeah, no, that's not it. I mean, there is his like huge, like maybe I can show this. Maybe I can show the picture, which seems a bit ludicrous. So let me save actually. It seems a bit ludicrous, but maybe that's what I need to like present, because we have a picture, at least a picture of his like case, his giant fucking like travel case. Imagine that, he had a whole ass fucking body this whole time he was stalking so merrily, you know. It was just like, fucking hell, that's the fucking cold-bloodedness. Kinda crazy.
Objection!
Oh my god, it actually was! What? Okay, that was like so fucking far-fetched, no fucking way, holy shit, okay, okay. There's a possible way for you could have moved Inspector Gresson's body, you say? So the opposite is true. And what's that supposed to mean? Far from being impossible for you to do. The transporting of Inspector Gresson's body back to Britain is something only you could do. What are you talking about, Ryunosuke? As well as being a judge, Mr. Jigoku is also Japan's Minister of Foreign Affairs. Which means he's exempt from having his luggage searched when he enters the country. We learned that when we first met you upon your arrival in London. Yeah. Get fucked, buddy.
Well,
well, all those passport checks and luggage searches at the border took rather a lot of time. I must say, I'm very envious of your ministerial status. You didn't have to go through any of that, did you? Huh, I knew you were jealous. Okay, what a cold and calculated man. I presume you recall this, Judge Jigoku? Yep. It's a photograph we took in the foyer of the hotel to mark the occasion. As the court will note, you have with you your large travel trunk. Large enough, in fact, to have a corpse inside. Mr. Naruto, sure you're not suggesting? Yes, I am. I'm afraid I am. Yes. 3 days ago, when we were chatting innocently with the new arrivals from Japan in the hotel. The body of Inspector Gregson was just meters away from us, inside Judge Jigoku's trunk! Let's fucking go.
order in the court! I'm skeptical, counsel, that a grown man's body could fit inside even the largest travel trunk.
It could. Because I happen to know that the witness himself, a man of considerable size, fits inside his trunk. And verifying that would be extremely simple. Wouldn't it, Judge Jigoku? Or 5 people in the photo. Yeah, that's fucking grim as fuck to think about, yeah. But inside his trunk? How horrifying! And after we'd spoken with you at the Great Waterloo Hotel, you had the opportunity to visit the apparent scene on Fresno Street, taking your trunk with you in a cab to deposit the inspector's body.
I don't have to listen to this nonsense.
Dr. Gory, the coroner who examined the body, has confirmed the possibility. She's acknowledged there are signs that steps may have been taken to disguise the true time of death. The onset of the body's decomposition could have been delayed by storing it in the refrigerator! I'm fucking telling you.
Counsel, as I remember explaining yesterday, refrigerators of the requisite size are few and far between.
Yes, I'm sure they are, but one place they're certainly found is on large ocean liners. Such ships are equipped with electrically refrigerated cold rooms to keep food fresh on their long sea voyages. And SS Grouse is the exception. Professor Mikadoba told me about it only yesterday. Well, Judge Jigoku? Speeches, Aya. However much you prolong this debate, you cannot eliminate the truth. All the evidence points to you being the killer. Bitch.
Well, this is all very heartening. I can see that it was a wise move, letting Asugi and you embark on the study tour.
What are you talking about now?
Logical reasoning, of course. All good proceedings will be built on logical reasoning in the new century. And I can see that you've both laid firm foundations for that already.
Judge Jigoku, please stop diverting attention from the issue at hand. Dickhead, the defense has made an accusation against you. How do you respond?
Respond? There's really no need for me to respond, is there?
Why ever not?
Because before you can even begin to answer the question of when the victim was killed, you must first establish one key fact. Where was the victim killed? It's quite logical. The actual scene of the crime. The prosecution stance is unaltered. The killing took place on Fresno Street when the gunshot was heard.
As the accused, Barak Van Ziek shot the victim at point-blank range.
Since no tangible evidence exists to disprove the prosecution's claim at this time, the defense's deductions amount to little more than an elaborate fairy tale. I'm afraid that's how the logical reasoning the British are known for really works, young stripling.
The victim was shot in that little room on Fresno Street and died instantly. I'm afraid it's the prosecution's claim. That's the only fairy tale here. How can you say that? Quite simply. Because the claim directly contradicts a certain piece of evidence in our possession. Hey, let's go.
Very tantalizing, counsel. I think you had better explain yourself to the court, don't you?
The prosecution claims that the Inspector Gregson died instantly when he was shot at the scene on Fresno Street. But this evidence clearly contradicts that claim. Died instantly, died instantly, died instantly, died instantly, died instantly, died instantly. What proves that he didn't die instantly? What do we have? And what would there be like this thing, you know? I don't think that's the thing we need to present, but that's... Let me save. Oh cool, I can save, okay. I don't think this is this. But if it... Is there new shit? No, it is not. Yeah, there's like this... As well, and statement. I guess that's what... Yeah. How do we explain time of death shit? It's been so long too. I need to like. What did that key open again? I think I remember. The candles appear to have been blown off. Yeah, but it wasn't. It was blown off by the. Yeah. Because it was clearly delayed. But. What about the time it stopped at, though? Like, what? What proves that he didn't die instantly? But he did die instantly, though. What contradicts? Okay, maybe it's not the thing. Maybe that was just a throwaway word that they just threw it in for no reason. Let's really think about like what was the reason. Like what contradicts the actual crime scene that we have now? Because it's new evidence, isn't it? What new evidence contradicts that he died instantly? Help, Iris, please. I don't know. Sorry for being like low-key stupid. Its body was discovered. Maybe his passport? Because it was... No... But he was dead way before that. Honestly, I don't know. I might risk it for the biscuit. Let me present this.
Take that!
It's not. Okay. Really are curious breed. Okay, breed. You see the word breed. Of the proffer and argument of such conviction, not to present such Ryunosuke. He said it as only Egypt. Okay, whatever. Let's just try shit. Okay, was the victim killed in a room first? Something that we have that shows the answer to the question surprisingly clearly. Okay, thank you, bro. You're going to try again, or can you? Okay. Recently. First street. Maybe this.
Take that!
No, it's not this. Okay. I know. It's not. Okay. Oh, was he moved there after his death? Moved there after his death. Yeah. Yeah, maybe it is the candle. Candelabra. Candelabra. Whatever the fuck you call it. Because this was the thing that they explained, like the time being off.
Take that!
Never mind. Never mind. Let me load. There we go. What proves that he was moved though? No. Am I stupid? Is it obvious? Like, I feel like it's obvious that I'm just too stupid right now. He wasn't supposed to have his identification. And yet he had it on him? Not sure.
Take that!
Never mind. Yeah, I get it. I legitimately feel like so stupid right now. I actually don't know what it's supposed to be. Because I presented this. Maybe this? No, but what does it even prove? He wounded without fail. It started ticking again. Okay, reread the claim. Consider it as a whole. Okay.
Take that!
Okay, I'll do that. In case you had a note. Okay. Was the victim killed in the room on Fresno Street, or was he moved there after his death? There's one piece of evidence we have that shows the answer. That question surprisingly clearly. Maybe it is in fact the passport. Did I present it already?
Take that!
No, okay, never mind. I'm so dumb. Okay, like... then before the green one. Okay, there's like one that proves like this thing very clearly. Like the name, the sentence was like, yeah, there's something like proves it very clearly. Oh right, I have a history. I'm so fucking stupid. I always forget this shit. Very tantalizing. Prosecutor can actually spray that instantly when he was shot. Seems that Inspector Gregson died instantly when he was shot at the scene on Frester Street. I was focusing on the word instantly in the beginning. But then maybe I was correct. I don't know. Maybe when he was shot at the scene on Frester Street. Frester Street. Because the claim directly contradicts. The victim was shot in that little room on Frester Street and died hence. Maybe low key in the time of death. Instant death. To the body from behind. But we didn't find the bullet though, did we? Didn't we? Let me try this.
Take that!
No, never mind. Fuck. He did die instantly though. This is the problem. Like I can't like proving the time that the fact that he didn't die instantly is not the thing I should be pursuing because it's not the case. Then I guess it's the location, but do we have proof that it wasn't at that location? Was it not in that room? Yeah, not in that room, but how do we? I'm genuinely fucking stupid or like something. I feel like it's so obvious. I'm just not seeing it. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I what is it? I give honestly I give up. If you have the answer, just like tell me the item. If you know the item. But like I genuinely cannot figure this shit out. Like small components. Did I present this already? Yeah, I think I did. Died instantly. It would be a bullet hole, and he would be bleeding out on the floor. And people would come rushing in to inspect the body. That's not an issue for the judiciary. It's not asking about whether records are kept about whether they issue to. Also about for the past 5 years they've been engraved with a unique serial number. As far as I can tell, there's nothing like that on this gun, which tells us this must have been issued longer ago than that. Ooh, interesting. Oops. This is more of another clue. To him specifically. He would be like, blah, like this on the floor, like, you know, like a starfish. You know? But like, yeah, he's curled up in a ball. Again, like he was, maybe...
Take that!
Oh my god. What? I mean, I did I not present this? I was kind of certain I did, but okay, well, never mind. Because I was thinking about this shit, but like, I guess, I don't know. Well, never mind. Well, whatever. No excuses. I'm stupid. I'm a little dum-dum. But yeah. But that's still kind of far-fetched, though, I think, to like, this directly contradicts clearly the evidence. Like, you know. Does it, though? Like, it's like kind of vague. That's why I didn't go for that. Like, anyway, the game is the game.
A photograph of the victim. In the very location we claim he wasn't killed.
Yes! But the point is, the posture of the body itself... Yeah, okay, bro. Okay, bro. If Inspector Grayson had been shot there in that room, it's out of the question that his body would have been curled up in a ball like that.
I'm sorry to disappoint you, but your logic is flawed. You could easily have adopted that fetal position due to the pain of the shot, which subsequently proved fatal.
Objection!
But it was instantaneous. I'm sorry to disappoint you, Judge Goku, but it's... Wait. It is, it's your mistake, whatever.
What?
According to this autopsy report, the victim died instantly. He would have felt no pain, much less would have been able to draw himself into that position.
Oh!
Which begs the question of why the victim's body is curled up in that way. The answer should be abundantly clear by now.
You're suggesting...
The inspector's body took on that posture ahead of its arrival on Fresno Street, before it was coldly turned out on the floor from the inside of a large travel trunk, just like I predicted back all the way back during the room of the inspector in the very beginning. Anyway, enough yapping from me. No! You're quite right. The shape of the body. It looks exactly as if it had been kept in a confined space. Okay. Judge Goku, present your trunk for examination. I believe it's very possible that it will contain traces of the victim's blood. Ah! What was that?
Present my trunk. I refuse.
What? On what grounds?
I have power, bro. I have power. I'm the minister.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm the Minister of Foreign Affairs from the Empire of Japan. I shouldn't have to put up with this treatment just because of some stripling's baseless accusation.
In other words, Judge Goku, there's blood in your trunk. Like the whole fucking thing is shaking.
I decline to answer that. As the Minister of Foreign Affairs, I have privileges that allow me to...
At this moment, you're not a government minister. You are a witness in a trial of Britain's highest court.
Oh.
Okay. I don't care who you are, what your status outside this courtroom might be. You will not withhold information. Nothing is more important than the truth. Okay, bro. Okay.
Order in the court. Well, Mr. Jigoku, what's it to be?
You can't be serious. You did it?
I've you no shame at all, Kazuma Asugi.
What?
Very well, I admit it. I did bring the inspector's body to the country. Inside my trunk, exactly as postulated by the defense.
What? You...
Dear God, outrageous!
So it was you. You admit to inspect...
No! I admit to nothing more than what I've said.
Okay.
Killing the man, I certainly have no recollection. What on earth is that cryptic statement supposed to mean? I merely disposed of the inspector's body, which was left in my cabin, in order to avoid unwanted attention. As the judicial assistant over there pointed out, I had no chance to throw it into the ocean. So, I decided my only option was to bring it to Britain with me and dispose of it somewhere else.
You can't still deny it. If you didn't do it, then who on earth did kill the man?
As you know, there was one other person in my cabin at night. He had the opportunity.
He's just gonna throw the blame on Kazuma.
And moreover, he'd already accepted a mission to take the inspector's life.
Oh, fucking twat. Have you no shame, Jigoku?
That's right. Who else could it have been? It was you, Kazuma Asugi.
You. Never thought you stooped to this, Seishiro Jigoku.
You've taken the words straight out of my mouth, Prosecutor Kazuma Asugi. You thought by leaving the body in my cabin you could pin the crime on me, did you? Well, the prosecution counsel has already admitted to visiting the witnesses' cabins on the night in question. Yes, on an assassination mission, no less.
You wouldn't.
So, what do you make of that, young stripling? You've heard my testimony now, and that's all I have to say on the matter. I'll admit it, nothing more.
I don't believe this.
Counsel for the defense? What is your position now? The court awaits your response to the witness's assertion. The assertion that on the night in question, the victim's assailant was in fact Kazuma Asugi.
This isn't a dead end, it seems to be. The answer is right in front of me. It comes down to Jigoku or Kazuma. Both of them had the opportunity to kill Gregson, but only one of them did it. Yeah, but the gun is state issued, is government issued, so yeah, we already figured that out. Bye-bye, okay. And I'm just a step away from proving who. Very well, the defense is ready to respond to the assertion put forward by Judge Jigoku. The idea that the victim's murder could have been committed by Prosecutor Asugi is... possible. Judge Jigoku, let me remind you of something you said only a few minutes ago. You claim that logical reasoning is the future of the judicial process.
It is, no question. Well, logical reasoning can prove something here.
Namely, that it would have been impossible for Prosecutor Asugi to commit a crime.
What? The court will only accept an argument that is supported by compelling evidence. So present what you have, counsel. What proof is there that allegedly demonstrates the impossibility of Prosecutor Asugi's involvement?
I love that. This is the build-up version of the theme. Let me save. Quick, hurry. We'll show the gun.
Take that!
Okay, never mind. You're making an evidence sweep here, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Come on, man. Literally, the gun is a government-issued one. Like, it's a judiciary-issued one. Ugh. Okay. Proof to pursue, yeah. Could we only accept an argument supported by compelling evidence? Present what you have, counsel. Okay. So the impossibility of Prosecutor Asugi's involvement. There's a blade hit like thing here. Like he uses a sword. He doesn't use a gun. Maybe this will be it.
Take that!
I ruined it. I ruined the vibe. My bad, guys. My bad, guys. Maybe I'll just present his sword.
Take that!
Because he couldn't go and get in. Never mind. Sentry duty. Yeah, sentry duty. Yeah, but again, the guy was on sentry duty, therefore, like, I mean, I'll just present the drill.
Take that!
Oh, this itinerary for crew members of the SS Grouse, my lord. This is conclusive proof.
An itinerary? How does it prove anything?
Jigoku, the moment you acknowledge that you found the victim's body in your cabin. This itinerary suddenly became much more significant.
What? Why?
On the night in question, as always, a crewman sentry was on guard outside your cabin door. As long as he was there, nobody could have fired a shot inside the cabin. Absolutely, because it's inconceivable that the guard wouldn't have heard it and come to investigate. Okay, except, yeah. So that tells us the crime must have taken place when the guard was elsewhere. That narrows it down to the 20 minutes, just after 10 o'clock as indicated on the itinerary.
Yes, I see no flaw in your reasoning so far.
But the crucial point is, when the evacuation drill took place, the steamship had already put to sea from the port of Dunkirk. Oh, okay, I see. Now, clearly the murder could have only been committed by somebody who was aboard the vessel at the time. But Prosecutor Asugi stated in yesterday's proceedings. I didn't come to Great Britain to take anyone's life, so I left Gregson and disembarked the ship. I spent that night at the boarding house in the town and returned to England the following morning. Which I'm sure the court will agree is conclusive proof that Kazuma Asugi couldn't possibly have carried out the killing. Okay.
No, absolutely not. No, absolutely not. I don't accept that at all.
What do you mean? You're cooked, buddy.
The boy's just saying that to exonerate himself. We can trust that he really disembarked the vessel. Obviously, after he left my cabin, he hid himself somewhere nearby on the ship. Just waiting for his chance to come back and finish the...
No, that's out of the question. Isn't it, Kazuma? As the defense rightly recalls, I disembarked the vessel and spent the night in a boarding house in Dunkirk. And as I said yesterday, I signed my name in the accommodations register book. All extremely easy to verify and undeniable proof.
No way!
There's no escape this time. You can't forget that you're a judge or a government minister. Right now, you're just a criminal. It's time you gave the court an honest answer, as a common man. Okay, you killed Inspector Tobias Gregson and transported his corpse back to Britain. Then you dumped the body in the room on Fresno Street and made it look as if the murder had happened there. That's what it really happened, isn't it, Seishiro Jigoku?
It was a damn trial 10 years ago. That's when all this began. Looking back now, my fate was decided that day. I was doomed already.
Ah! Whoa! He broke the entire fucking thing! The shit started levitating, what the hell?
It's over! My life is over!
Okay. He just fucking... Jeez, he's fucking strong. British assassin to eliminate a professor in Japan, a Japanese assassin to eliminate a detective in Britain. Both assassins will use diplomatic immunity to evade conviction and return safely to their homelands.
The assassination exchange request arrived from Britain about 1 year ago. Though it was hardly a request, it was a demand.
And for that you decided to recruit Mr. Asogi. things didn't go according to plan. You chose an assassin, never made it to Britain. And you found yourself unable to dispatch a replacement. Because I was already on my way to Britain at the time, in Kazuma's place.
And that left me with only one option for carrying out my obligation. To eliminate the mark myself, personally. Of course, there was but a single opportunity for me to do that. The International Forensic Science Symposium, I presume? That's right. As it would be the safest to carry out the plan before my arrival in Britain, so I enlisted the help of my British counterpart, and made arrangements for a pretext that would take the inspector to Dunkirk.
The counterpart, is it really Stronghard though?
To lure the man in, he was given a sham mission by the Reaper.
What? The Reaper? There's only one person who could have done that. The mastermind of the entire operation. The Reaper himself. Ah. Yeah, so that means that the assassin exchange was planned by the Reaper?
I'm not at liberty to say anything about my British counterpart.
That we're curiously not seeing anything of right now.
Anyway, the inspector accepted the Reaper's mission and dutifully infiltrated my cabin on the steamship.
Okay.
But it was all a trap designed to lead him to France and his own death.
Oh, how awful.
It was past 9 o'clock when I returned to my cabin from the dining hall that evening. I didn't give him time to attack me. I choked him until he lost consciousness. But there was a guard just outside the door, so I left it at that for the time being. Even the slightest noise might have aroused suspicion. I bided my time, waiting.
For the 20 minutes after 10 o'clock. I'd intended to finish him by strangulation, but moments before I had the chance, he suddenly came around and went for me in a reckless move.
I received a British-issue gun 16 years earlier, being a member of the
A member of the judiciary as a visiting student.
I never imagined I'd have to use it for something like that. So the revolver belongs to you, does it?
The victim was killed inside your cabin on the SS Grouse, which begs the question of why you arranged for his body to be discovered in the room on Fresno Street.
The young judicial assistant over there has already answered that question. There was no way I could take the body up on deck to throw it over to the side. That's precisely where all the crewmen were gathered for the evacuation drill. So before the first class cabin sentries returned, I took the corpse to the refrigeration room. Then on arriving in Dover, you concealed the body in your trunk in order to smuggle it past the border police. I knew I needed to take steps if the police were to be convinced when the body was found in London.
In that case, you must have known. You must have had intimate details of Inspector Gregson's intended schedule.
Yes, my British counterpart sent me everything I needed to know.
It's Stronghard. It has to be Stronghard, because who the fuck issues that shit except the guy of the law guy, the big law man, the judge right now.
The inspector was due at Fresno Street at 5 o'clock that afternoon, in order to meet a man by the name of Hugh Boone, from whom we would take back his police identification. I decided that man would be the perfect person to set up as a culprit, so I took a hackney carriage over there with the body still in my trunk.
It must have been just after we took this photograph with you at the hotel then.
Yes, I wasn't expecting a welcoming committee. I was more than a little nervous. Well, that didn't show at all. On Fresno Street I spotted a young girl selling little firecrackers.
Miss Venus, of course.
I conceived of the candle trick there and then. I donned a simple disguise and approached the girl to buy enough firecrackers to replicate a gunshot.
What sort of disguise?
For some reason, the inspector had a red hairpiece in his own traveling case. So I put that on, though I suspect I drew more attention to myself in that than I would have otherwise.
The hairpiece we found at the scene, Inspector had it ready for the Red-Headed League investigation.
I only arrived at the room at around 4:45. so I quickly placed the body on the floor, moved the notice board, and set up my little candle trick. I arranged it so the firecrackers will go off with a bang around 15 minutes later.
So that Mr. Boone, who was due to arrive at 5, would walk straight into a trap.
Except, at the last moment, I made a careless blunder.
How was that?
I imagine it was the bag of fish and chips.
Ah, yeah.
I didn't notice that it had fallen out of his overcoat pocket when I moved the body to the refrigeration room.
I put it back into his pocket the following morning, but...
well, it seems the warmth of the heated cabin had accelerated the decay of the fish. Anyway, that's everything. All the sordid details of what I did.
Okay, but why though? Why though? What's the reason though? We gotta go further than that. It couldn't just be it.
I've heard enough. We arrived at the truth about the murder of one of the country's most capable and respected police inspectors. The witness will be tried in the coming days. For a crime of such a vile nature, you can expect the most severe penalty.
Exchange of assassins. What a foolhardy idea.
Mr. Jigoku, one last detail. Thank you. Who was your counterpart in Britain? Who was the mastermind behind the assassin exchange? Nothing you say now can make matters any worse for you. Just tell us! Enough!
I've already told you that I cannot say.
Even though as things stand, you may very well never set foot in your homeland again. Just do this. Just do this. Because I know.
What are you waiting for? Can we get this over with now? It's finished. All of it. I'm finished. Then, in the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I now pronounce the findings of this court. This man before us has admitted to the willful murder of Tobias Gregson. Seishiro Jigoku, it is the opinion of this court that you should be found. May you remind all those present of the strict confidentiality demanded by this closed court. Objection? Objection. 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 Objection.
No objection.
Moments ago, Mr. Jigoku signed a written confession, admitting to the murder of Inspector Gregson and the subsequent conveyance of the body. In short, the defendant's innocence has therefore been established beyond doubt.
Oh, wonderful. Well done, Mr. Naruto.
It's not done yet. It's not done yet, is it? Yes, thank you.
Something wrong?
Yeah, there's still something missing.
I'm just a little troubled.
By his silence.
The true identity of the Reaper of the Bailey and this extraordinary assassin exchange would remain in the dark about these mysteries. However, insofar as the indictment brought against the defendant in this trial, we have reached a conclusion.
I have every intention of pursuing both mysteries. As a prosecutor.
As you wish. Now, for the formal adjudication. I hereby declare the defendant.
Objection.
The prosecution calls for adjudication to be deferred.
Counsel?
The accused's innocence hasn't been fully established at all. And therefore, it would be wrong to deliver a verdict at this time. This is the prosecution's unwavering position. What? I mean, I guess he knows. Yeah, he already confessed. I guess he knows. He's just like trying to figure out who the English counterpart is, because tomorrow he's gonna go to jail. You know, he's gonna go to jail forever. So, nevertheless, I mean, I don't know if forever, but Baron Van Zieks has committed crimes for which he must be punished.
Well, it would appear you have information that the court needs to hear, Prosecutor Asogi.
Certainly, the murder of Inspector Gregson was actually carried out by Seishiro Jigoku. But it's clear from the witness's testimony that he was coerced into complying with the plot to this sick, merciless assassin exchange. Are you implying that it was Van Zieks that was the English counterpart? I've thought about it, but it feels like not cool. It doesn't feel very, very cool. So I don't like it, so it's not true. that may be true, but... So what I want to know is, who coerced Jigoku? Thank you, okay. Let me go take a piss real quick, because this is gonna get good. We have gone past 1 hour on the usual streaming time, that I have, but it doesn't matter because I want to get this. I don't want to lose momentum. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So what I want to know is who coerced Jigoku? Who was pulling the strings? Yeah. The victim went to France having been ordered on a mission for the Reaper, only to be murdered. In other words, the mastermind behind the assassin exchange is someone in a position to give such an order. The guy on your right, bro. I mean, on your left, I don't know. As we've already established, the Reaper himself.
Well, certainly, there would appear to follow.
Prosecution hereby formally accused the man in the dock, Baron Van Zieks, of being the Reaper of the Bailey, and furthermore, I'm going to prove his guilt beyond all reasonable doubt. What? Okay, dude.
Order, order, order! The Reaper of the Bailey is a long-standing mystery in the Council. Are you suggesting you have some new information with which to build a case?
Scotland Yard has already investigated Lord Van Zieks very thoroughly in that regard, and they found no evidence whatsoever to substantiate the claim that he is the Reaper.
Perhaps, but circumstances have now changed. What do you mean? It's already been established that the assassin exchange was negotiated with Jigoku by the Reaper himself, which means we now have a new line of questioning by which to identify definitely the man's identity. It is the prosecution's intention here.
I must say, I'm surprised by quite how tenaciously you appear to want to besmirch my name.
Yeah. You are guilty of an unforgivable crime, Lord Van Zieks. And I will bring you to justice for it, whatever it takes. It explains Kazuma's silence before. Let's up and nothing to finish what Lord Van Zieks unwittingly started 10 years ago. Very well. Whilst it's extremely irregular,
I will on this occasion grant the prosecution further opportunity for witness testimony. The defendant will disclose any and all involvement he has had with the Reaper and the Assassin exchange.
I have no relations with this case, with the exchange of the assassins. Testimony over. You cannot cross-examine him. Boom, done. I thank you, my lord, for guiding the court so wisely.
I hereby declare this court to be in session for a supplementary hearing.
Okay. How did the stand got rebuilt, by the way?
Pray turn a blind eye to discourtesy as I verify that this vile and unremitting accusation hasn't soured the contents of my hallowed chalice.
Lord Van Zieks.
I first had to suffer the pseudonym of the Reaper 10 years ago now, and ever since that time, I've endured the weight of the implied guilt that's come with it. So I welcome the chance to testify now, and crush those allegations once and for all.
Good. Then let justice decide, Lord Van Zieks. The prosecution seeks to begin building its case by calling the accused to the stand as the primary witness, in order that he may answer the accusation brought by the prosecution that he is the Reaper of the Bailey. And what says the defense? The defense says, okay. Putting the defendant in the witness stand can be extremely dangerous, and Kazuma-sama is so emotional at the moment, it's not taking logically. You're right that this is not himself, but I knew he would be like this. I came here today determined to face him through whatever might arise. As a lawyer and as his friend. Then that's what we must do. The defense has no objection, my lord.
Very well. Defendant, you will take the witness stand and give formal testimony on the subject of your involvement with the Reaper and the Assassin exchange. As you wish, my lord. I've never taken the life of another, nor have I instructed another to kill. I've been investigating the truth behind the Reaper for years, and I was aware of Gregson's involvement. There's the reason why I went to Fresno Street that day, and how I came to discover the body. The point is, no common thread exists between myself, Gregson, and Dr. Wilson. Clearly, therefore, there's no reason to suspect me of being behind the Assassin exchange.
So you deny all accusations by the prosecution, both that you are the Reaper of the Bailey and that you masterminded the Assassin exchange.
I acknowledge that the public at large believe me to be the Reaper. However, that's a fallacy, which I alone am in a position to forswear.
That's a word. Naturally, prosecution believes the testimony just given by the accused to be untrue. Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Yes? Let me ask you, why are you here? What really brings you to this courtroom? A desire to uncover the truth, even if the truth proves your client to be guilty. From all my experiences in this courtroom, I've come to realize something. The truth can be hidden. Sooner or later, it will come out. So it's always my intention to work with my client in pursuit of the truth. I want you to remember what you said. I will.
Enough dilatory chatter. Counsel for the defense, proceed to cross-examine the witness.
Ah, yes, my lord. I know exactly what you're thinking, Kazuma. I know you're just waiting to point it out. A contradiction you're convinced lies somewhere within this man's testimony.
Okay.
Let us see. Taking the life of another. Okay, let me save, first and foremost, because I have only one life. Okay. Taking the life of another. Nor have I instructed another to kill. Okay. So you're not what the general, yeah, okay.
Exactly.
Don't imagine for a moment that the court will be satisfied with a one-word answer to this. I realize that. If you're intending to to comment on every sentence, this could take a while, Kazuma. Didn't you find it disturbing, though? That one by one, defendants would have been acquitted after your unsuccessful prosecution were killed? Let me answer that question by posing another. If one by one defendants would have been acquitted after your successful defense were killed, would you find that disturbing? Disturbing? I couldn't possibly say how that would make me feel with a one-word answer like that. Exactly. Well, that told me. But even though I'm not the Reaper, that doesn't mean I ignored all the hearsay. I've been investigating the truth behind the Reaper for years, and I was aware of Gregson's involvement. Okay. You say for years, how long exactly? Since the very first time the Reaper's influence was felt in this courtroom. 10 years ago now. Ah, we're getting back to 10 years ago. So maybe we're gonna go back to like all this shit and like use the final piece of evidence, which is gonna be like Genshin Asogi's like final will or something, you know. Investigations led you somehow to Inspector Gregson, you're saying? I didn't want to believe it. He was a personal acquaintance. We'd worked on cases together in the past. A friend, even. It felt like a betrayal, but I demanded permission to search his office at the yard without his knowledge. Which is when you found his secret notebook, is it? It's when I first learned of the location he'd noted only as Grouse, on the appointment at 5 PM on the 31st. Though I didn't know the significance of those details at the time. So now we are at the nub of the matter. As it turns out, the significance for me personally was very unfortunate. Oh, so the reason why I went to Frester Street that day and how I came to discover the body.
Hold it!
Okay. But why did you go to that specific location? I thought that if it was the Reapers at headquarters, that by turning up there at 5 o'clock, I would catch whoever was involved red-handed. Sadly, all that was awaiting me was Inspector's corpse. Yes, even though it wasn't designed for you, you walked straight into the trap set by Jigoku. Exactly. Jigoku had intended to implicate Hugh Boone, but unhappily for me, I arrived at the scene first. A ridiculously careless blunder. Moved on to just throwing insults around, I see that, because yeah, what the fuck are you doing? Think what you will, it doesn't change the truth. He really hates fucking Zeeks, bro. The point is, no common thread exists between myself, Gregson, and Dr. Wilson.
Hold it!
There is nothing between you and Gregson, though. Of course, we were close acquaintances. We'd work on numerous cases together. I considered the man to be a mentor of sorts. He taught me a number of important lessons. He did? Such as what? Where to buy good fish and chips, and such like. Okay, well that was convincing. Victor Wilson was a coroner, of course, but that was some time in the past. And a coroner in the past? Wait, I didn't know that. He was a coroner. That's massive information. And in any case, I understand it was several years ago, now that he was invited to work at a Japanese university. Maybe he was told before and I just forgot, but you know. That's right, he was a visiting professor at Imperial University in Tokyo. It should be unambiguously clear then that no link exists between myself and him. In other words, I had no motive for sending some assassin across the ocean to kill the man. It's plausible enough, I don't want to believe it, but something about this just doesn't quite sit right with me. Yeah, okay, this is the contradiction. This is clearly the thing I gotta disprove, right? The Gregson next to give Wilson. A link between the two. Clint Van Zeeks. John H. Wilson was a coroner. There we go.
Objection!
Oh my god, I only had one life and it worked. Okay. What is this? An autopsy report? Wait, this is 10 years old, from the autopsy of Lord Clint Van Zeeks. What? My brother's autopsy report? I'm pleased to see the defense doesn't intend to run from the undeniable truth.
Order in court. What reason do you have for presenting a 10-year-old autopsy report here, counsel?
This, the autopsy report of the professor's final victim, is an indelible link between Inspector Gregson, Dr. Wilson, and the defendant.
Not that accursed name again, the professor.
I've personally researched all of the court records relating to that case. I know that at the time, autopsy was considered sacrilege to the victims' souls. And for a member of the aristocracy like Lord Clint Van Zeeks, it was unthinkable. But someone implored the powers that be to allow the autopsy to go ahead, Inspector Gregson. He declared that he was certain he would obtain a conclusive proof from the procedure. It was Dr. Wilson that conducted the autopsy. His signature is clearly visible in the document.
As promised by Gregson, the autopsy did indeed produce evidence. Evidence that conclusively proved Genshin Sugi was guilty of the murders. In my brother's dying moments, he mustered all his remaining strength to leave that vital clue behind. Indeed, that was the key to indicting the professor for his crimes and the conclusive evidence that convicted him. It enabled Lord Van Zeeks to adhere to avenge his brother's senseless death with a marvelous victory in court.
A marvelous victory, was it? I wonder if that's really true.
What?
Could the same be said if it turned out that the key piece of evidence in question was in fact fabricated? Ooh, the inspector, the coroner, and the prosecutor all colluded together to cast an innocent Japanese man as a mass murderer and send him to his death.
That's outrageous!
And now, 10 years later, wait, shit. 10 years later, for some reason, secret has, okay, which is why the inspector and the coroner had to be silenced, isn't it? By someone in power in Japan and in Britain.
Using the two killers recruited for the assassin exchange.
Okay.
Order at once!
10 years ago, my father was convicted in this very courtroom as a mass murderer, to be sentenced to death. But it was all a sham, and I swore to myself that I'd prove it. Which is why I had to come to Britain. Whatever the cost!
You'll have to forgive me if I feel compelled to toast this vengeful Nipponese tenacity of purpose here. However, he who fails to quash his emotions in the courtroom has failed as a lawyer.
Come on, Kazuma, you know this won't wash. You're claiming your father was just misrepresented in a trial that took place a whole decade ago. You must see that without evidence, that's nothing more than a wild accusation. As it happens, I have evidence. What?
As the court has heard, I crossed the channel to France with Gregson on the 31st. I went with him on the pretext of being the assassin recruited to kill Seiichiro Jigoku, but my true intentions were to make the inspector tell me the truth.
What truth?
The truth about the evidence, and he acknowledged what I'd already deduced. There's a closely guarded secret about what went on in that autopsy 10 years ago.
What? A secret? I know nothing of any secret.
While we waited for my supposed mark in Jigoku's cabin, I drew my clan's illustrious sword, Karuma, before the inspector's eyes. He very quickly understood.
Hey! Thank you! Thank you, Clédy F. the Reaper, for joining, for following. Je sais qui tu es. Mais t'inquiète, merci. But yeah, thank you for following. Yay, 2 followers in 1 stream, let's go. Okay, he very quickly understood what my true motive was.
Right, I see. You're not Asogi's young lad, are you? And what? You're gonna cut me down with that thing? Is that it?
It will very much depend on the answer you give to my questions. I want to know what really happened 10 years ago. The truth, that's all.
Before we get into it, let me make one thing clear. So I believe your father was a professor, there's no doubt in my mind. But unfortunately back then, we didn't have the evidence we needed to make the crime stick.
So you admitted then, the evidence used in my father's trial was fabricated?
It was for the good of the country. Anyway, I was just following orders.
Orders? What exactly did you do? Speak!
I'm not saying another word.
Even if your life depends on it.
That's right. Even then.
And that's when it cut through his, like, thing. So that's when the tip of the sword broke. Oh, Kazuma-sama.
If the results of Clint Van Zeek's autopsy were fabricated, then the investigating officer Gregson and the lead coroner Wilson must have known about it. And they can only have been ordered to pervert the course of justice in that way by one man. The man leading the case from the prosecution, Barak Van Zeeks. In other words, the defendant did have cause to organize this exchange of assassins.
Exactly, and as was established earlier. It has to have been the Reaper himself who liaised with Jigoku in Japan to arrange the exchange. Not necessarily. It was most likely Strongheart, which is the judge right now, you know, because they would care more about international, like, incident type stuff, you know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
So it follows that the Reaper's true identity can only be that of the man who stands accused in this courtroom today, Barak Van Zeeks.
Yeah, but that, like, you don't have real proof though. Where's your proof, bro?
Objection!
Yeah, objection. Kazuma Asugi.
What?
What you've just told the court. Are you absolutely certain of your facts? Did Gregson really fabricate evidence for the trial 10 years ago?
I heard it with my own ears. His shameful admission.
In that case, I know. The name of the Reaper.
Yeah! Okay. What? Lord Van Zeeks?
I gave no such orders. I know that for certain. Which narrows down the remaining possibilities to one.
The guy in front of us. If Lord Van Zeeks is the one behind all this, then yes, there is only one other person who could have done something like that. I believe I know who it is too. You.
I just had a feeling the name was going to come up. The true identity of the infamous Reaper of the Bailey is...
Mr. Sholmes? No, okay, let me save. I had that feeling. I hope my feeling is correct too. I've seen his face for so long in the characters list. I have to... Okay, let me check who else though. There's only a man powerful enough for this, and it's...
Take that!
The only person who could have arranged the assassin exchange and manipulated the autopsy results is the Lord Chief Justice himself! Lord Miles Strongheart! Holy shit! If the results of Clint Van Zeek's autopsy report were fabricated, then the investigating officer Gregson and the lead coroner Wilson must have known about it. And they can only have been ordered to pervert the course of justice in a way that by one man, the man leading the case for the prosecution. Yeah! Oh, and he was the one actually leading it before Lord Van Zeeks took it. Before he took it, because he was actually pressuring Miles Strongheart to take the case, because it was his brother's case, and he was like, okay, but he was the original guy. He was the original guy. Oh, Lord Miles Strong, how are we gonna put you to jail? What? Lord Strongheart? Yeah. Yes, it's true that 10 years ago, the defendant handled the prosecution of the professor in court. But he only took over the case after his brother, Lord Clint Van Zeeks, had been killed. Yeah, you prepare for the massive beating you're gonna take, buddy. I like you and all. I like your style and shit. But buddy, you're getting it, man.
I can only assume that this is the most inappropriate joke in British judicial history.
Well, Lord Van Zeeks?
10 years ago, I was very new to my profession, but I had a burning desire to avenge my brother's death, so I pleaded for control of the case. The investigation to that point, the supplication of the lords to allow my brother's corpse to be examined, all the evidence I was given, the autopsy reports, it all came from you. I spent my life since then believing I was in your debt for the way you stood aside and let me handle the trial. But I see now, I was very much mistaken. It was a huge influential force that caused the inspector and the coroner to break the law 10 years ago. That same force was still felt a decade later on the other side of the world by Seiichiro Jigoku. Lord Strongheart, everything falls into place when we recognize that you are the Reaper of the Bailey. The court awaits your response, my lord. This may very well go down in British judicial history, but I assure you, it is no joke. Consider this a formal accusal by the defense. It doesn't warrant a response. A formal accusal? Don't be absurd. The defense claims they're utter nonsense, a wild fantasy at best. You're not going to defend yourself. You claim there was some wrongdoing but with Lord Clint Van Ziek's autopsy. That's utterly untrue.
Objection.
But I heard it from Gregson's own lips, he admitted to it.
And where's your evidence?
What? Yeah, there's no evidence.
Gregson's dead now, unless you were thinking of summoning a ghost to the stand.
I mean, I do know someone who is able to do that, but he's not alive yet. You mean to say...
I forget how the system works in your little backwater country. Whoa, but in the courts of the British Empire, without evidence there is no case. I have no intention of entertaining some wild fantasy that can't possibly be sustained by anyone or anything.
Ah! Okay. He got serious.
Order in court. Following Inspector Gregson's murder and in the light of Dr. Wilson's death as well, there's really no one left who could testify about the events of 10 years ago, is there?
So that was the real purpose of the assassin exchange.
This court has no business raking over the coals of a case that was conducted a decade ago. The accusal brought by the prosecution and the defense is categorically denied. I take it there are no objections.
Kazuma, he's more or less waited his whole life for this moment. Is there really nothing else we can do now? Is there no other avenue we can go down in pursuit of the truth about what had happened all those years ago? There was someone who could testify about Clint Van Ziek's autopsy. Let me check, because I know something. Because he wasn't alone. He wasn't just Mikotoba! 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 He's gone to extraordinary lengths to cover his tracks. Even so far as dispatching an assassin all the way to Japan to ensure Dr. Wilson's silence. Dr. Scythe won't say anything against Strongheart. But there's still one ray of hope.
Objection.
Actually, there is one person. One person who could still testify about that autopsy.
Don't be ridiculous. There's no one left.
Who, Ryunosuke? Who? Tell me! Kazuma, Please, the strike can't end! Not yet! Okay. I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing it for the truth. The person in the defense would like to call to the Senate to testify about the autopsy of Lord Clint Van Ziek is... safe. Please? I swear if it's not Mikotoba, I'm fucking cooked. I do not know otherwise.
Take that!
My god, yes!
Heaven help us. Another Japanese.
An expert in forensic medicine, my lord. Professor Eugene Mikotoba. 16 years ago. He came to London with Seiichiro Jigoku and Genshin Asuki as a visiting student.
And what could his testimony possibly tell us?
Professor Mikotoba was the primary assistant during the autopsy in question. He was also the person who actually penned the report.
Incorrect. The autopsy was carried out by the coroner, Dr. Wilson. The report carries his signature.
It was the primary assistant's duty to keep a written record of the coroner's work during the procedure. In actual fact, the coroner merely read over the report at the end and signed it. In other words, Professor Mikotoba witnessed the entire autopsy from start to finish. The defense demands that Professor Mikotoba be summoned as a witness as a matter of urgency. Whatever really happened at the autopsy laboratory 10 years ago is something that only he can tell us.
The defense's demand is denied.
What? But Professor Mikotoba is in London at this very moment. We could summon him at this 10 minutes.
Yeah, but I don't want to. Go fuck yourself.
No, of course he's not going to agree to it. Strongheart has no intention of summoning anyone who knows. He's too concerned about protecting himself.
Prosecutor Asogi, let me refresh your memory, as you seem to have forgotten the prosecution's stance. Only minutes ago, you accused the defendant of being the Reaper and of masterminding the assassin exchange.
I did, yes.
So present your evidence for those claims and make your case complete.
Yeah, you want to fight for the truth too, buddy? At this time, I don't have the requisite evidence, but that's exactly why we need witness testimony.
The Professor case is closed. There are no clues in the distant past that will bolster your argument. I'm afraid to say, Prosecutor Asuki, that you would appear to be possessed by the spirit of your late homicidal father.
Bitch! That's very mean to say.
Now, as stated earlier, the court has already reached a conclusion with respect to the matter at hand. Inspector Gregson was murdered by Japanese Supreme Court Judge Seiichiro Jigoku. As for any hidden circumstances that may exist, they will be investigated in due course by the proper authorities.
Objection.
But we all know what will happen. That'll just give the mastermind the whole venture time to cover his tracks again.
By which you mean me?
Yeah.
Your punishment for this contemptible behavior will be decided at a later date. As for you, Prosecutor Asuki, you will be remanded following these proceedings willingly, I trust, since you gave your word.
What the fuck do we do?
This futile game of revenge is over, young Master Asugi.
Okay, I'm not gonna. Fuck. What do we do to take this guy down? Who has more power than him?
That will be all. I hereby declare this trial to be over. Court is...
Sholmes, hello. The goat! Indeed. Mr. Sholmes!
This is no place for amateur detection, Mr. Sholmes. May I remind you that these proceedings are closed to the general public. You will leave the courtroom at once.
No. Mr. Sholmes was instrumental in the apprehension of Seiichiro Jigoku before he fled from Europe. The court should hear what he has to say. Lord Mayor Strongheart, it's imperative that you refrain from bringing this trial to an end at this stage.
Is it really? And why would that be?
You need only recall your own words from the opening of the trial to answer that question, if I may. We will stop at nothing to uncover the whole truth behind these disturbing findings. Sure it can be. The shock of being accused of being the Reaper yourself has erased that from your memory, can it?
The whole truth, sir, has already been uncovered.
It would seem that we have a great many important members of the judiciary present here today. I put it to you, my dear fellows, should the trial end at this juncture? After all, why have you been invited to attend? To nod along to the prevarications of your superiors? Let's go!
Order in the court!
It seems to me that we stand before a door that leads to a new era of legal practices, a door that is ajar. Let us emerge from the shadows of the Reaper's decade-long ascendancy. For you, and you alone, my dear fellows, have the power to push this door open now!
The editors in the gallery have no rights to express an opinion on the court proceedings. Silence!
He's right, the judge has absolute authority here.
Yes, if he calls the trial to an end, it must end.
Will that really do? Since dark things are occurring behind the scenes. Dark things indeed. Is there a single person here present who can honestly say he doesn't sense the same? What's... The trial should go on. Summon the witness! That's right, we need to declare this... But before this... Wait. The young Japanese fellow is remanded to custody. Yeah.
My lord, you assured us present that you would uncover the whole truth here.
Vindicate yourself of this outlandish accusation. The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. That's the very definition of British law. Toast to my dependable colleagues in the gallery. Testify! 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 Well, my lord, you hear the voices of the British justice, I take it? I think you'll find it will be rather awkward to silence. Testify! Testify! Testify!
The court will recess briefly. I have no intention of shrinking from these allegations. Bailiff, arrange the subpoena of the witness at once. As soon as the gentleman arrives at the courthouse, we shall reconvene.
Arrests won't be necessary, my lord.
Pardon?
Mikotoba is a close friend of mine. He accompanied me today at this. You know what? You know what I think happened? I think it was kind of like recess so that he can bribe him. You know, that he can bribe him to like to fuck with the case. But no, he brought it directly with him, so there's no need for subpoena or some bullshit. Yeah, no time for corruption. We're here. We out here. Mikotoba is a close friend of mine. He accompanied me today and is waiting in the antechamber as we speak. I believe he's been enjoying a little trip down memory lane, in fact. What? Professor Mikotoba is here in the courthouse? Mr. Sholmes, you didn't know this would happen, did you? My dear fellow, no one is in a better position to answer that question than you, surely. I wasn't just asking for the fun of it, Of course he is. This is the greatest detective of all time.
I must thank you for your assistance in this matter, Mr. Sholmes. However, you are no further use here. Kindly leave the courtroom at once.
But of course. In truth, I find myself rather busy now as a result of these developments. Isn't that her though? Ah, yes? I trust you have Iris's little lucky charm with you. Absolutely. It is still in my pocket. She sends her regards, and a reminder, if you find yourself at a dead end, the ears are at your disposal. Just one tug, if you please. Oh, of course.
In that case, the trial will continue without delay. Bailiff, show the witness to the stand.
He's pissed. Oh, says Lord Strongheart, he's the Reaper of the Bailey. Where exactly is the story going to take me, I wonder? Just how deep am I about to be plunged into the blackness of the abyss? Well, I'm ready. I'm ready to head into the heart of this maelstrom. Maelstrom! Mild Strongheart! And confront whatever horrors it tries to drown me under. To be continued. Tomorrow! In the final episode. I won't be playing Hollow Knight tomorrow. Tomorrow will be it won't be Hollow Knight. We will be concluding this. Putting an end to this case. Because, bro, I cannot wait. This looks like this is gonna be like insane. Alright. This was a lot. This was a lot. This was a lot to take in. And I'm kinda tired, Loki. Like this was a 3 hour and 30 to stream. I went overtime 1 hour and 30 for this. But it doesn't matter. It was worth it. Fuck my sleep, bro. Who cares about my sleep, bro? Anyway. Yeah. This is panning out to be fucking insane. Genuinely. Yeah. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Yes. And stuff. And yes. Okay. Like, subscribe, smash the like button and all that bullshit, But yeah.